Hello and welcome everybody to the Alpha Pro Series Xmas Showdown. Casting for you today will be me, yours truly, Snoopy, and joined by my side, my co-caster, as you can see on screen, Rushi.
Hello. So happy to be here.
Yeah, this is gonna be an exciting group. We're here at Group C of this group stage 1. And looks like we're actually going to start with Estrella versus Dream first. Looks like we're waiting on True to arrive, so we're going to go ahead and get started with this series instead. But let's actually go ahead over to the Wikipedia page here and just show you how the tournament is progressing. Currently, we have Group A and B done. Solar and SOS coming out of Group A. And then, of course, Sue and TY coming out of Group B here. And then tonight we'll be showing you Group C, which has, of course, Zest, Dream, True, and Estrella.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a nice little bracket going for this evening. Some really great participation here so far with the beginning parts of our tournament. Some really strong players making it out in first and second. I wouldn't say any surprises. Certainly Solar and SOS, no slouch. Sue and TY as well. But I think we're in for some good games tonight as we get set up for Dream versus Estrella. Should be an interesting matchup. Estrella has been really hot on the WCS circuit this year. Really kind of flexing his muscle in the circuit scene, and he's going to be going up against a player in Dream who I don't know has made a huge splash in the Korean circuit as of late, but he's a Brave Star Gaming player. I wouldn't sleep on him. It should be an interesting TVP.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to it. And if you guys haven't really been tuning in and don't know the format of this tournament, it's basically a GSL style type of tournament. We have a round of 16 group stage. Top 8 will advance to group stage 2, and then the top 4 of that group stage 2 will advance to the playoffs, where they will play a best of 5 semifinals, and of course the top 2 will advance to the finals, where they will play a best of 7, where they will of course play for a nice little prize pool and also OSC points. So if we scroll back up here, you can see the prize pool breakdown. First place, or 7th and 8th place, as well as 5th and 6th place will go home with $75. 3rd to 4th place will go home with $150. And second place will double that and go home with $300. And then first place will again double that and go home with a nice whopping $600.
Yeah, definitely a lot on the line for this tournament. So we're so grateful to all of our sponsors. We'll talk a little bit about them later on in the cast, but right now we're going to jump into game number 1 here. Both our players are in the lobby, set and ready to go. And it's going to be on Zen LE, one of the shorter, little bit more cheesier maps in this current pool. What do you think? What's your prediction here for our first matchup?
Well, the map certainly presents a kind of unique expansion positioning, because there is a natural, but then also a paused. Oh, looks like a little bit of a pause there. But as I was saying, this is a natural with a little kind of a mineral lined ramp. But then I've seen some people, such as Estrella, plenty of time go for that dirt base first as their natural. So they will kind of expand to their what would be their standard dirt base, and then they kind of use their natural, or the standard natural base as their dirt base. So we'll see if Estrella does that. But it looks like we're actually going for a remake here.
Well, if you take a look at the matchup between these two players, Dream versus Estrella, it's going to be a TVP. Just in all-time head-to-head matchup here, Estrella's got about a 54% win rate against Terran, which on its face, not too bad until you compare it to Dream's 59% win rate in TVP. So I am curious to see how this is all going to shake down. I really... I could see Dream taking Estrella in this first set, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them meet again in the end. But you know, I've got my black and gold on. I can't just sleep on my boy Estrella for too long. I'd be remiss. I would be privately messaged, and you wouldn't see me in the next segment of this cast. So I think we're in for a treat no matter what here. So our two players are just about queued up. We're making sure that we're on appropriate servers. Dream's playing from South Korea, and Estrella is currently playing in the United States. So trying to find some place in the middle to get our ping matched out as best we can. And we are loading up now. Game number 1 still going to be on Zen LE.
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, Australia, I think this is one of his breakout year. I think he's had a really nice, good tournament and also events, results such as, you know, the earlier WCS where he finished top 6. And also he's been playing in a couple of our Alpha Pro series where he actually managed to take home some few wins there. But anyhow, let's get into the game and introduce our players.
Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Zen LE. This is our red Protoss player. Give it up for Alpha X's Estrella.
And spawning at the top right here, we have our blue Terran player from... oh, no, actually, let me go ahead and... okay, Brave Star Gaming. It is Dream. For a second there, I actually thought he was from Psystorm, that was actually true. So almost caught myself there. But anyhow, we have ourselves a PVT here. And let's see how this game plays out.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty standard probe timing on this map. It's really easy for the probe to get across and disrupt the main base of most of our opponents. The Terran player is going to be able to mitigate this distraction just a little bit. Probe can't get there fast enough to deal a whole lot of major damage, but we're going to play this game where the probe decides to jump in on top of the worker. So Dreamy is going to have to juggle that a little bit. That SUV getting really low, so that probe is going to kind of chase it around a little bit, but it's going to stay more focused on causing more havoc in the front before the Reaper pops out.
Yeah, and it looks like a standard opening by both players. Just a racks into an expo for our Terran player, and then of course a gateway into Nexus for our Protoss. So nothing too crazy thus far.
And I think it's really interesting, kind of the resurgence of Terran and Protoss in this last patch. We've kind of spent the last whole year talking about balance and how Zerg is slowly kind of been slip sliding down to meet the other two races. But after the BlizzCon patch, I would say, you know, we've kind of seen a lot more Terran and Protoss matchups in major tournaments. I think at Home Story Cup, we saw a lot more of that happening. Most certainly here in the last couple of weeks as well, seeing more and more of this matchup coming into play here. And it's kind of fun. It's giving us a little bit better look at the scene as the Reaper does manage to get into the main base here. Does pick off one probe before having to bounce away. The Adept is going to finally push that off. But nice little disruption here so far for Dream.
Yeah, for sure. And I do love the kind of the gateway and cybernetic core positioning by Australia will prevent at least the Reaper from coming up from the north side, or I guess the right side rather, and just force him to at least go through the natural base in order to jump into the main base. And as you can see, the Reaper is jumping to the right side, and it will not be jumping in because of course those buildings does a nice job blocking it, but actually just circumvents the Adept here and will go into the main base. Does not really get a scout on the Stargate, so he will be in the dark for momentarily.
Well, Dream was a little worried about initial pressure, dropping a bunker down at the front of his expansion here. So he's going to use that to his advantage while his Cyclone's going to come out and deal with the Phoenix. Phoenix is going to move across the bottom side of the map in intention to find a little bit of scouting information, maybe disrupt a couple of workers in the process as well.
Yeah, and this Phoenix will actually be really helpful because it looks like Dream is actually going for a Tech Lab starport. So probably, oh, it looks like actually going to be a Raven, but I was about to say if he didn't make a Banshee, that Phoenix would definitely help against that. But it looks like we have a little bit of a depth harass here. Will be shading in. Will he let it finish? Nope. does cancel that clone just in time.
I think at this point, yeah, tossing those 2 Adepts away. Dream's got too much up in the main base that he doesn't want to commit that all the way just yet. So Adepts are just going to shade back and forth, try and force Dream out of position, get a little bit of scouting information. Cyclone is going to find a lock on one of the Adepts, and I think the first Adept is going to go down. He's not going to have enough gumption to take down the second Adept, so Adept is going to shade away.
Yeah, some nice catch there by Dream, getting one of the Adept. And it looks like Estrella, he is going to go straight into that third base. He is actually throwing down a robotics bay here. Do you think this is for Colossus or do you think this is for Disruptors?
You know, I'm not entirely sure yet. I know Colossus has been a lot more prevalent since the BlizzCon patch, but Estrella does like to play a little risky, so the Disruptor play would be very exciting and allow for a lot of big hits. But Dream really isn't doing a whole lot with Bio just yet. Now he's got Major in production, 3 Marines, and a Marauder coming out. So if he does decide to go Disruptors, it's definitely going to work out to his advantage as Stim Pack and Combat Shields start along with +1.
Oh, we do see the Raven just gonna barely catch that Observer, and the Cyclone will take it out easy peasy. So nice catch there. Australia will be in the dark unless he goes for another. Oh, actually he does have Phoenixes, so I guess he can go ahead and scout with it as well as harass in the main and natural.
Phoenix are going to swoop in on the right-hand side here. They're going to get a couple of workers here picked up. 2 workers immediately go down. The Bio is going to shift off to the side while the Cyclone starts putting a little bit of work in. One Phoenix does get low, but he's going to try and use the energy on it before it does get picked off. And all of the Phoenix are going to get out for three SCVs. No loss on the Phoenix yet. He's going to continue poking in. I think Estrella is doing a nice job of keeping Dream pinned back in his base, but he does get a chance to see the large bioforce that's now amassed.
Yeah, and that will signal him to start making some units, maybe even throw down some shield batteries, get those gateways up and running so he can warp in some more units. And yeah, looks like Dream will be making his way across the map.
Colossus are going to be the tech of choice here, and I think that's right. Thermal Lance is about 2/3 of the way done, but this Bioforce is going to arrive at Estrella's third base before everything is able to get started. So no shield batteries to be found. He is going to get a warp in. There's one Colossus here. One Colossus will be able to do a little bit of work. A couple of force fields go down while the Bioforce does stim forward. Does Estrella have enough to hold this off? Colossus is dangerously low. The boys do have to get pulled. Second Colossus does show up to the fight, but I think Dream just has enough bio. I think he's hung on a little bit. He is going to continue putting pressure on here. I don't know what Estrella is going to be able to do to clean this up.
Oh, the Phoenix was a bit late. It does finally arrive here, but can it save the third Nexus? It looks like it would just barely be able to save it. Ooh, that was really close.
Yeah, I think Dream actually overextended just a little bit. I think he had a moment where he could pick up and leave with the Medivacs, but he decided that the base and probe damage was enough. 15 probes going down, so Estrella is still up on the worker count, though. He's not in a terrible position, but for Dream, I mean, he traded away most of his army for that. So I'm not sure if he got as much as he was hoping for, but he is going to try and wind up and strike again.
Yeah, and it's important to note that Dream just threw down his third base, so Estrella being ahead even after that big attack and losing 15 probes, but this is going to be the main attack here. Will Dream be able to break him? So far, the Colossus micro and kiting is really nice, and the Phoenix does lift off some of these units here.
Yeah, I think Estrella did a lot better job of preparing for this incoming attack. He saw the movement with the Phoenix and was able to kind of position himself, so it gets a lot better engagement here. And Estrella finds himself way ahead now, up 20 workers, and he's actually starting on his fourth as well. Dream still working on getting his third in place.
Yeah, I love how Australia, he really recognizes when he can and cannot expand, and he knows that after defending that big attack that he's able to at least safely expand, as the momentum of Dream's attack has pretty much died, and now Dream is trying to transition to a third base into the mid to late game, and these Phoenixes actually, ooh, nice Widowmine hit.
Yeah, that was a hit that Dream needed. He needed to slow down the mobility of those Phoenix. So the Phoenix are going to have to fly away for a little bit. Ooh, sneaky little pylon going in the bottom right-hand corner. His charge is about to finish up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Estrella start warping in 5-6 charge lots at a time and let him just run into the third base and cause a little bit of havoc in Dream's third. He is already getting himself a large economy lead, and against the Terran player, a Protoss that's up 20 supply, that's, I mean, incredibly good position for Estrella to be in.
Certainly, and it looks like both players are stabilizing, just basically macroing up, getting their upgrades. A little bit of a Zealot run by here, but looks like Dream will be taking that as his army was well positioned.
Charge lot is so fast.
Oh yeah, they're like the same speed as Stim Marines and Stim Marauders, so yeah, they're pretty fast.
I absolutely love the vision that Estrella has out on the map right now, splitting up his Phoenix to keep track of the center path. He's got pylons down on the lower right-hand side. Does get a quick pickup here from the drop in the fourth base, manages to pull the probes. Only loses one probe. That's not too bad. But he's just kind of all over the map, staying on top of Dream. Dream doesn't have an opportunity to really get a good angle on Estrella. And Estrella feels confident he's going to move out to his fifth base and continue teching up. Disruptors are now in play as he does drop Zealots into the main base.
Yeah, that Disruptor is going to be really, really nice for him. That's going to provide him a second optional splash damage units. And looks like we got some more counterattack with these really, really quick speed lots. Or I guess charge lots, you could call them. Will he get that meal? Oh, just barely. But 8 SCV does go down for Dream.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about with Estrella. He's going to constantly provide pressure on that right-hand side. It's going to force that army to have to either stay back at home or split off. The Viking count is actually strong enough now that he can feel confident against the Colossus, which is a good choice for Estrella to switch into that disruptor tech. It's going to leave a lot of that air army of Dream kind of high and dry. But Dream does still have an army advantage here. Estrella wants to make sure that he doesn't take a terrible engagement, and this Bioforce is going to try and push forward. The Disruptors are positioning on the left-hand side, and they are ready to strike, but Liberators are going to kind of siege up and hold that zone off. It's going to force Estrella back and away just a little bit more.
Yeah, but Australia has bought enough time to get his +2/2 to be done. So that's going to be really, really good for him during this engagement. And here we go. Does Australia commit to this? There are a lot of Liberators, and it will be really important for him to not overextend. Ooh, nice. Actually, nice blink micro there. Another Disruptor shots. Ooh, that's a decent hit there.
Yeah, doesn't get quite on top of the whole army. He's kind of clipping off 2 or 3 Marines at a time, so it is worth his weight to make that work. But the Liberators are continuing to push forward. Estrella's going to have to jump in now. Charge lots run underneath while the Stalkers are picking away at all the Liberators. Both the Colossus do go down, so the Vikings are able to come down, but take a really nice hit from the Disruptors, and they actually just all perish. The Charge lots are able to continue pounding through the bio on the ground, and all of the air forces have been cleaned up. Dream, unfortunately, being pushed back, and Estrella is just going to push forward.
Yeah, cleaning up the majority of those Liberators are really important for Australia, and now he's just charging in and possibly actually just ravaging his natural. There's an interesting enough a fourth base right next to it, but looks like Dream does know that it is pretty much over, and GG, Australia takes game number 1.
Yeah, Estrella really kind of took himself on the offensive for this game, which worked out really, really well. He was able to set the pace and move exactly as fast as he wanted to. Yeah, GG to Estrella, doing a nice job setting game number 1. That puts him in a really good position for this opening best of 3 here.
Yeah, but it looks like we're actually possibly heading over to Korea server now. So the ping for Dream might be a bit better, which might actually might give him a bit of a boost and possibly tie up the series. We shall see here as we head on over to Korea server, I'm guessing.
So we're going to wait on our admin to confirm that that's the case. So
yeah. But in the meantime, I just gotta say, Australia did a really nice job macroing that game. You saw the how he kind of just mass expanded. I think at one point he was like 5 bases compared to the 3 bases of Dream. So just knowing when and the right exact time to expand, and also because he was playing kind of the mass gateway units at first, even though he was transitioning to Colossus, he was kind of relying heavily on the gateway units. So being able to kind of macro up really well and providing the resources to fund those gateway units as well as the Colossus transition, really nicely done there by Australia.
Absolutely. So we are going to get into game number 2. We are moving over to the Korean server here, since as we mentioned, our players are playing from 2 different locations. So trying to give them both a little bit of home ping advantage. We do want to take an opportunity right now to just recognize some of our sponsors that are helping out for this event. Of course, oh gosh, excuse me. Of course, GameStop does a wonderful job this time of year, bringing more power to your game. The events like these here at Alpha X are made possible by great sponsors like GameStop. With their sponsorship, both you, the viewers, and these players are able to have a fun and exciting esports experience. These events are not the only ones that GameStop is putting on. GameStop is working with Matcherino to fuel the grassroots of competitive gaming by providing hundreds of amateur tournaments across dozens of titles to enable you to compete and win. So not only can you watch with GameStop, you can compete and play with GameStop. So thank you so much to GameStop for sponsoring that we do here at Alpha X and helping us put on the Christmas Showdown right here on Africa TV. So we are getting set up for game number 2. It's going to be on Eternal Empire. Talk to me, Snoopy, about this map. How do you feel about our second map?
Yeah, I feel like this is one of the maps that maybe won't go as far into the game, because once you kind of get your 4th or 5th base, like they're really spread out. So it kind of goes in a V shape if you look at the map, just on the I guess on the outside. But yeah, I expect them to probably go for maybe a timing attack. But I guess we shall see.
We shall indeed. But we are into our second map here. So, spawning in the top right-hand corner, our red Terran player playing for... Oh, you've given me the curse. I forgot. Brave Star Gaming.
Yep.
give it up for Dream.
And spawning at the bottom left, we have our blue Protoss player from Alpha X. He is Australia.
Oh, I did. I looked up that name. I was like, I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it right. And then the moment I had to say it, just is like, whew, it's gone.
Yeah. And the good thing is that he actually has the little deck count next to his command center. So in the future,
of course he does.
If you do forget, you can just like zoom in and say, oh, yep, Brave Star Gaming right there.
Of course he does. I mean, more times than not, you go and you look there, it's like, oh yeah, help me, and it's like an anime character, or it's a really bad drawing of a zealot, and it's like, oh cool, this is super helpful, thank you. Playing for team terrible zealot, give it up for terrible player.
Oh man.
All right, so we're going to get set up into this game, and we're not going to see anything too terribly crazy, which really doesn't surprise me. Estrella does normally like to play pretty standard, just in against games that have some really significant meaning to them. I know he likes to play aggressive and get out onto the map, but I think he likes to set himself up really, really sturdy. And this map, it's not this map that's the really good Cannon Rush map. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, so... yeah, this is just a good setup. But Dream's going to move down, take his natural expansion, and we are already seeing a second Nexus already halfway done. So pretty standard affair here.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what tech Australia goes for. The Cybernetic Core is just done, so that should open the pathway to whether it's a Twilight Cancel for maybe Blink or maybe a Stargate opening. Although with the Gateway researching, I don't expect the Stargate. It's probably going to be either a Robo or a Twilight Cancel. And on the other side, it looks like Dream will be going for a 1-1-1 build here.
Yeah, Twilight Council going down for Estrella, and that's a pretty quick Twilight. And Estrella is going to move up to the top left-hand corner with a probe. I'm wondering if he's just scouting to see if there's maybe a proxy tech up by Dream. Estrella is out looking. He does not feel confident that Dream is being sneaky, but Dream has actually already put that starport on the opposite side of the map. So Estrella is right to be suspicious, but he just hasn't quite found it yet. He might see it here with the Adept, though. Is he going to get far enough south? I don't think he will, at least not yet. The Adept's going to shade away, and Dream's going to get away with this proxy starport for now.
Yeah, and that might actually catch Australia off guard here. Looks like Hellion are being produced on the factory, so it seems to me so far that's going to be a 4 Hellion starport kind of drop, and then kind of maybe possibly send the Reaper to the natural while that is commencing in the main. But let's see how Australia does respond. He does have the blink on the way, so that at least should help him, as Stalkers with the blink are definitely really nice against Hellions and Reapers, as well as dropships, or not dropships, medevacs.
Oh man, and that exchange in the middle there with the Hellions, that one Hellion was down below 10 health, and Estrella wasn't quite able to pick it off. So Dream doing some really nice micro to keep that alive. But the medevac is about to pop out here, so Hellions are going to kind of position. He's going to pull those Stalkers out front. Oh, I absolutely love this. But nope, Estrella is wise to the tricks. He is going to try and reposition those Stalkers, but the Hellions are going to be able to land. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get the damage done that he wants. Are going to wrap around the side here. Probes do have to get pulled off the line, and we are down to 2 probes so far, but incredible splitting by Estrella here, holding off the damage here. He does lose 8 drones, though, so it's definitely not an endeavor that was for naught. The medevac is below half, so he's going to have to be careful of these Stalkers. Now do officially have blink, and that's going to get picked off. 8 probes for 4 Hellions? I don't know. Seems a little worth, but maybe a wash.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be. I think most, or I guess a little than most, Terrans will probably take it. I mean, that's still 8 probes. The thing is that Australia doesn't have a 3rd base yet, so this might actually hurt him down in the long run. And it looks like Dream is just bunkering up in case there's any counterattack, and he's just really scared of that counterattack, as he's got bunker in his main with Widow Mines as well as his natural.
Well, and I think Dream's right to be concerned here, as Estrella's moved out with looks like 7 Stalkers here. There's no observer. Is there an observer out on the map? I don't see one just yet. So he doesn't have high ground vision. He can't just blink up into the main base, but he does have warp-in support. He does have that proxy pylon on the north-hand side. But here comes the warp prism. Warp prism will be able to give a little bit of high ground vision. I think Estrella is just going to swing around and keep Dream back on his toes.
Yeah, and still no scouting of that starport, but it looks like Dream will be retreating. Funny enough, looks like the Warp Prism will be making its way. Actually, you know, the Stalkers are kind of coming back. Okay, there we go. It turns around just at the last second. And yeah, looks like Dream is all set up in the main. Does have the bunker, Widow Mine, as well as some Marauders to go hand with it. But it looks like Australia will be poking in the front.
Yeah, I think Estrella knows that Dream has got the main really locked up. He's gonna tank one of those Widow Mine shots. He's gonna try and leap up in here though, but I think he's got to know that that's heavily populated. Not only the bunker, not only the large bio, but 3 mines there. Estrella would be foolish to jump up, so he's just gonna back off for right now and take his 3rd base, continuing to work up into his mid-game macro. Getting his first Colossus out. Meanwhile, Dream moving into combat shields, just finishing up. +1's about halfway done. So Dream wants to continue moving into the nice bio portion of his army. He's actually not doing too bad. He's keeping even with workers. He's got Estrella moving just a little bit slower this game.
Yeah, and look at this. I mean, despite this being Watchtower on this map, which gives you additional vision, Australia doing a really nice job kind of being on the sides, making sure that there's no medevac drops coming. But with the Watchtower, he does spot the move out from the Terran army, and actually Australia's going to do a kind of a pick off of the reinforcements, which is going to be really nice.
Well, this is going to put Dream in kind of an awkward position. He's kind of stuck in the middle of the map. Dream is not sure what he wants to do, but the reinforcements back at home are kind of dealing with the Stalker so far. Estrella is going to have to recall back to his main base as Dream's main armies come up. Really nice force field on the ramp, forces half of the army to stay back behind the rocks. The one Colossus is doing a little bit of work, but once again, Dream catches Estrella without 2 Colossi.
Nice Widow Mine dropped there by Dream. He actually loaded 4 Widow Mines into a medevac and just flew the medevac over the army and just kind of burrowed them and was able to get some nice, decent shots. But the dirt base of Austria is still up and running. So, I mean, I think Austria is still looking pretty good.
Yeah, Dream just kind of has that timing nailed down against Estrella where he's able to kind of jump in. He knows that Estrella's probably only got 1 Colossus out since he's invested so much into those Blink Stalkers. And he can get a lot of work done without that second Colossus out. Once that second Colossus pops, though, the bio really needs to pay caution and not get too far forward lest he find himself in kind of a bad position. The Warp Prism is going to kind of swing around the top side here. We are going to start seeing a little bit of drop action here as Dream tries to punish the forward base of Estrella. And Estrella does get a chance to see it, decides to move in right now. He is going to have all of his army back at home, but Estrella's looking to get a lot of work done. A little bit of a warp in here is going to kind of corral the small army force of Dream, but the workers are going to have to be pulled completely off the line.
Yeah, but the main attack is here at the dirt base, and Austria, I love this. He's actually pulling and sacking his dirt. He knows that a Dream does not have a dirt base, as he does have 5 wrecks and it's pretty all. Oh, actually a questionable move, actually retreating his probes, but I guess he just doesn't have a lot. I guess because of the SCB pull by Dream, he knows that he just needs to hold and he will be in a good position. But the question is, can he hold?
The Vikings are doing a lot of great work on the Colossi, but the incredible force field is keeping the bio choked up on the ramp. One disruptor is going to come down and force the bio back. Doesn't lose any of the bio forces, but does get a little bit of relief. All of the Colossi are down, and I'm wondering, maybe Dream has done it. He's pulled everything in here. He is definitely all in. Probes come off the line, and now the final attack has begun. Probes do a little bit of mineral walking to get in there, but I think Dream has done it. I think he has pushed back and taken care of Estrella in this game. Everything goes down in the main base. 1 worker. Sure, Zealots are doing a lot of work back at Dream's main base, but unfortunately, I just don't think you can base race this Terran, and the main Nexus is going to fall.
Yeah, even if they do base trade, I mean, Dream has the ability to lift off, and GG. Dream will take game number 2 and even up the series.
So I think what we talked about in game number 1 with Estrella absolutely happened in game number 2. Dream did a lot better job of controlling the tempo. Felt like Estrella really wanted to get up with those Stalkers and get some value out of the early blink, and wasn't able to take care of it. So he did not get to control the tempo the way he hoped, and found himself on the back foot most of that game, which allowed Dream to kind of catapult forward and take care of some business. And that is going to push us to a game number 3. We're going to see the rubber match. Our player is going to take a quick bio break.
All right, looks
but we are going to...
Yeah, it looks like the question is whether to use which server for game number 3, because both of them are, you know, on different servers. So I'm actually going to go ahead into random.org here, just to insert which server we're going for. So I guess the KR Korean server or the NA server. So let's go ahead and roll the dice, randomize. And it looks like NA server will be our map or our server of choice. And I'm doing it on the stream just to show that there's no like bias or something, because you know, I mean, Australia is in Alpha X, but and I, you know, of course we cheer for him, but gotta be, you know, fair. So that's why we are doing it on the stream, to make sure to show you guys that there is no bias here. We went to random.org, so no control. And so, yeah, let's head over to the American NA server.
All right, so we get set up here for game number 3. We're going to be going to Ephemeron for our final map in this series. What do you think, Snoopy? Is that going to the map choice that favor Protoss or Terran, you think?
I mean, I feel like it's a pretty okay balanced map. I mean, this is one of the maps that was from last season, or I guess the previous season. So people are familiar with it. People have played on it plenty of time, and it's gonna be one of the maps compared unlike the last game where there was a watchtower out in the map. This is the map where there is no watchtower, so both players will have to at least get some spotter marines or spotter zealots, maybe some spotter pylons as well, just to make sure that things like drops does not damage their bases too much, and they could react relatively quickly.
Excellent. Looking forward to our game number 3 here. Of course, this is a game number 3 of 5 different series that we're going to have tonight. Of course, our tournament is GSL style, so the winner of this matchup will go on to face the winner of our second matchup, which should be True versus Zest. They will play that series shortly after we finish up with Dream versus Estrella. As per our GSL standards, we'll take a look at the winners match, where the winner of that will go on to the next round. The loser will get to play the winner of the losers matchup, and we will have our consolation to take our second player out of this bracket. I know some of you probably thinking, come on, Rushy, we've seen GSL 100 times, but you never know. Someone new might be wandering along and go, GSL, what's that thing? So good to always explain, keep everybody in the loop. And it does buy us a little bit of time as we jump into Ephemeron here for game number 3. We are in the game right now, and we are looking at the top left-hand corner of the map, spawning our blue Protoss player from Alpha X. Give it up for Estrella.
And at the bottom right, we have our red Terran player from Brave Star Gaming. Give it up for Dream.
Oh, got the team name on the first try. Bless.
All right.
So we are back on the Western server here. So just to keep in mind, this does give Estrella a slight ping advantage, but don't be fooled. These players play on weird pings all the time, so these players are no slouches, and Estrella knows that. He's checking around just to make sure that Dream is not doing any cheeky 2 racks shenanigans. Dream is in fact making 1 racks all the way back at home.
Yep, throughout this whole series, none of these players have done any proxies or cheese, so they're just going to play out standard. And both games, actually, Australia has gone for Colossus, so we'll see if Australia does go for Colossus once again. The first game, it did work out. Second game, not so much. And we'll see if Australia does goes for Colossus tech in here at this third game.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see Estrella try and take advantage of tempo-based decisions in the game. Ooh, this probe actually getting really low. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, where Dream is able to capitalize on some slight tempo-changing decisions. That probe wants to dance around as long as it possibly can to delay the command center from going down into the second base. But when Dream's able to get a good cutoff on the probe and deal enough damage, Estrella is not going to want to sacrifice that probe, pulling it away. Otherwise, it is going to just fall to a quick Reaper coming out. So if Estrella wants to win this game, I think Estrella needs to make decisions that will help him control the tempo, and he needs to make sure that he doesn't fall to little indecisions, kind of like this Reaper scouting around the map. He's looking for that proxy, he's looking for that pylon, but I don't think he's going to find it.
Well, looks like the Reaper and the Pro playing a little bit of a hide and seek. So far, the Protoss is winning that game, but there is a Adept coming, and it's gonna possibly cancel this SV that's building if it gets there in time. Oh, it's gonna be close.
Oh, nice pick. Yeah, it's great timing by Estrella here, and this is exactly what we're talking about now. So now Estrella's got a little bit better control of the tempo. Even just 4, 5, 6 seconds makes a difference down the road. Everything always stacks up. The Stalker does arrive, though, to put on a little bit more pressure here. But since the Adept is so low, Estrella is having to continually run away here. He's going to lose the Adept to the Hellion, and the Stalker is going to fall more than likely as well, but not before picking off the Reaper, and that actually puts Dream on the back foot here.
Yeah, actually a second Stalker joining up here, and this is going to be pretty scary, although there is a Widowmine to fall back on, so Dream should not lose to this, but will lose a couple of Marines.
And this is the position that Estrella wants to find himself in, taking these Stalkers and getting some value out of them. Blink is on the way from the oh, come on, Rush. The name of that building is the Twilight Council, of course. As a gateway does go down on the left-hand side, so Estrella's looking to keep the pressure on here. He wants to make sure that Dream never leaves his base ever again.
Oh, really nice micro by both players. Estrella trying to activate the Widowmine with the probe, but Dream, nicely done, actually kind of unbarrels it so that it doesn't shoot. And yeah, just a really nice micro from both players, and Estrella is gonna, oh, actually does catches the medevac, and it will oh, actually this is gonna be pretty scary. He doesn't want to overcommit, because if he gets surrounded by the SCVs, that will be really troublesome, as he does not want to lose all these Stalkers. But here we go. Looks like the medevac actually coming. Oh wait, that's another medevac actually.
Oh, some really cute micro by Dream to try and pick up those Marines at the last second. But a tank is actually going to force this all back, at least in the short term. Medevac does get picked off. That's a great pickup for Estrella, and Dream is having to kind of combo together a defense here. Meanwhile, Dream's over across the map with a Banshee. 4 probes do go down, so it's not for nothing, but the Stalkers are able to clean that up, while Estrella is able to continue putting pressure on Dream, while Estrella takes a third base. So Estrella managing to once again control that tempo and keep Dream on the back foot here. That's doing positive things for him.
Yeah, he's going for the same blink opening, and I think compared to the last game, I think this is actually going to be a better situation for Estrella, because as you look at the kind of the surface area of the main base, there's a lot more surface area for the Protoss to blink in. Observer does go in. Ooh, will snipe a nice tank, unsieged, and this is gonna be pretty good for Estrella, as he does have the high ground and will be able to trade nicely if he could blink correctly. He does lose a Stalker, but he does blink the rest of the Stalkers and gets out safely.
Yeah, if anything, it kind of pulled Dream apart a little bit, as that tank is now being forced to juggle back and forth. Estrella's going to pick up the forward bunker while everything is sieged up on the top of the ramp. But this Liberator is doing a lot of great work. Estrella's having a difficult time juggling 2 different locations, so Dream's able to just pick away at probes. 10 probes, 11 probes. Oh, that's actually really difficult damage for Estrella. Estrella was doing a really nice job keeping Dream pinned back at home. But 13 probes going down allows Dream to stay in this fight. They're now even on workers and even on army.
Yeah, but oh, this Liberator might get cut off if Estrella is paying attention, and he just barely sees it, and oh, just barely. Ooh.
Yeah, but that Liberator is not going to be able to do a whole lot of work. I mean, it's one laser away from death. So Estrella continuing to compound his good faith. Estrella's already populating his third base, but Dream Dream can't even get away from his second right now. He's trying to set up a tank perimeter to protect against the stalkers leaping back up into the base, as he does still have an observer to give himself high ground vision. But he's already transitioning into charge and a warp prism as well. So Estrella is going to continue to put on the pressure as another Liberator does go out for Dream. This is where Dream's going to be able to try and claw back into this game and cause a little more havoc. If he can get another Liberator to pull 10, 11 workers off of the third base, which is currently exposed, that's going to be what he needs to get another foothold in this game.
Yeah, but unluckily for Dream, Australia already has an observer at the right top side of his natural, which actually caught the Liberator kind of on the move, and Australia does intercept it really quickly and takes that out. So no Liberator harass, at least on the top side. There is one Liberator at the bottom left corner just chilling, siege up. I don't know if he is just settled there with a new homeland or something. He does have a little... Oh wait, actually, let's go ahead and zoom in here, because I'm seeing some little... Oh wait, some little dancing things here. Little dancing bears at the bottom left side. Never noticed that before.
Well, he's absolutely protecting that little tribe of bear creatures from the carnage that's happening outside Dream's base. Dream has finally had enough. He's pulled his bio forces and tanks, and he's going to go try and deal some damage at the third base because he knows that he can't allow Estrella to have a third for this much longer. Tanks are going to siege up and fire onto the ramp and keep pushing Estrella backwards, but he's doing a nice job with his Blink Micro, not losing too much, getting a lot of damage off on these Marines and Marauders. Ooh, one Stalker does go down, and Dream is going to be able to pick up the proxy. The proxy's kind of a moot point by this point in the game, but that is a big warping of Zealots here in Dream's base. This is going to force Dream to kind of go all in, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Australia doing a really nice job going in always with the Warp Prism right when the Terran player is out in the middle of the map, and that forces Dream to go back and try to defend. But already a good amount of economic damage done by Australia while he is still macroing on his 3 bases by quite some time, actually. But Dream will finally be able to clean this up.
Yeah, Dream was actually pretty diligent about getting those SCVs out, only losing a couple of SCVs here and there. And the third base was able to go down just the right amount of time for Dream to just transfer down to the third base location. So economic damage is not terrible from that spot, but here becomes the overarching problem for Dream. It's going to be these speed Zealots that constantly deal harassment damage on the left side of Dream's third base. So he's going to have to keep a close eye on that. That's going to be a thorn in his side. Meanwhile, Estrella is going to expand out to the fourth base on the 12 o'clock position of this map. And again, Estrella is able to control the tempo here, keeping Dream forced back at home, sieged. Dream really needs to get this army out onto the map so he can control a little bit more airspace and stop Estrella from just doing what he pleases.
Yeah, oh man, double medevac drop at the right side, and again the observer did scout that, but I don't think Australia was paying attention. He doesn't seem to be moving his forces to the north side. It's actually in the middle of nowhere, just chilling. But he does have Storm done, so he will have that in his arsenal. And looks like, oh, actually the medevac, I mean not the medevac, the Warp Prism of Australia did catch the drop, so good thing for him. He won't have to suffer from a unsuspecting medevac drop.
Yeah, I think Dream actually saw the Warp Prism and wanted to try and pick it off, but Estrella was really quick, kind of just floated it off into dead space and wasn't able to get anything done with this. But now the drops are going to convene and try and pick off some of these Zealots that we're going to run by on the bottom hand side. So Estrella, for right now, his shenanigans are going to get thwarted for the time being. There is a very, very full High Templar here. Ooh, that's going to be a lot of energy that he just loses for free. He can't donate too many of those to Dream.
Yeah, but although Australia is transitioning into double robo disruptors, so it looks like he's mixing in with his High Templars some disruptors in case, because Dream does have all his ghosts out, so that is you got to be careful of the EMP. But if it does get EMP'd, at least he will have the disruptors to fall back on.
Yeah, it's very, very true. Little Bio Hit Squad's going to float over to the left-hand side, but Estrella's already on top of it. He's got such good vision again in game number 3 here. He's just kind of staying all over the map. Oh, that pylon's actually getting a great scout, and he's not doing a whole lot about it. Dream does finally pick that up, and he's actually just going to zip on forward. Does get out of range of the stalkers right away, and he's just going to land right in the natural expansion. One EMP does go down and zaps all of the shields here, but not before a couple of ghosts do die. 7 probes go down. 1 disruptor shot actually gets stopped right before it explodes here. So Estrella doing a nice job of defending this, but Dream still getting the damage he was looking for.
Yeah, 9 probes going down. Although the worker count are pretty even, but you got to remember, Dream is a Terran player. Dream has those meals. So as a Protoss, you don't want to be tied up in worker count compared to the Terran player. So he will need to start, pumping out some bit more workers. But in the meantime, looks like Estrella is going for a counter attack here and trying to possibly take out this 4th base down at the south.
Now, 1 siege tank's not going to be enough to stop this entire force here. Planetary is complete, but once again, I don't think that that's going to be enough. The stalkers are going to blink on in. Workers do get pulled to help take care of the planetary, but it's just going to be too much. 5 workers do get picked off by the disruptor shot. 1 disruptor may go down. No, I think it's going to stay alive. As there is a drop happening in the natural base right now, workers do get pulled off of the natural, so Dream is going to try and punish Estrella for punishing the 4th base location, but I think it is going to get cleaned up, and both players deal a little bit of damage, but are just going to lick their wounds and keep on fighting. Yeah,
it looks like it's going to force a recall by Estrella, but does he takes out that medevac? There's actually no cannons in either of the bases, so it's kind of vulnerable. But yeah, he's kind of playing ring around the rosy with these medevacs. But in the meantime, Dream's main army is pushing in, and ooh, nice EMP gets a bulk of the army of Estrella, and this is looking kind of scary. Where's the other rest of his army though?
Now, there's actually not a whole lot here. Everything is off on the bottom-hand side in these disruptors. They get a couple of nice, really shots, but all the zealots are trapped behind the immortals. You don't want those immortals in the front line here trying to work away against tanks and liberators. So Estrella kind of chokes up his own army and gives Dream the opportunity to hold on to this ramp, and this is going to cause some problems here for Estrella.
Yeah, but Estrella does have the +1 upgrade on the advantage on the attack, so if he can actually get a good concave and not get clumped up to those tanks, then I think Estrella should be fine, although the liberators are causing quite the trouble.
Oh, 1 High Templar is going to come in here and try and storm, but actually just does not. I wonder if that was just a bad hotkey. 12 workers have gone down in Dream's base. Estrella punishing Dream in Dream's main. So there is a lot of action happening around the map, but Dream is kind of convinced that this is a last-ditch effort for him. Estrella warping in more and more things across the map and actually really, really putting the hurt on Dream's not only economy but production.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough position though for Estrella. He's kind of at the ramp area, so it's gonna be really hard to move out. He's gonna have to make sure that he's have enough units to break that and break free, but he will lose his third base to this Bioforce. But in the meantime, the Zealot and Charge Lot Harass is still commencing. 20 SCVs going down, as well as 16 probes going down for Estrella.
Estrella is really grabbing hold of this game, though. 21 and 20 workers going down, but take a look at that army count. Estrella is sitting at a cool 88 supply. He's able to deal with these drops in relatively simple fashion. The medevac slowly getting picked off more and more, and Dream actually dropping below 100 supply here. He's kind of hanging on by fingertips at this point.
Yeah, funny enough, Estrella has a bank of gas though, so that should at least help him warp in some good amount of High Templars. But there's 1 lone High Templar here at the south side, and will possibly just get 1 storm, but no SCVs for it.
Yeah, I think that was the fight of the century right there. Who would win, one fortress with cannons or one high boy? The Bioforce does kind of stem forward here, but unfortunately stems forward into a whole lot of Nope, lots of Colossus, lots of Archon, lots of splash damage. It is going to be stalled for just a moment as the Liberators are sieged up, but this fourth base is very, very exposed. Big storm on a lot of the workers is going to clean up most, if not all, of the workers. The Planetary Fortress is going to go down. That was Dream's strongest economic base here, as the Liberators do push forward and continue trying to siege onto this army. Stalkers are going to wrap around the right-hand side and try and get a little bit of extra damage, and they do accomplish the work. As more and more workers fall, more and more storms blanket Bioforces, and it's only a matter of time before Estrella is going to be able to just push in here and bully his way into a Game 3 victory.
Yeah, looking really nice for Australia, but Dream trying to do one last counterattack drop, but just futile. Australia just has too much. All the economy is gone for Dream, and GG. Australia will close out the series in a really nice game number 3.
Yeah, very, very well done. A good series so far, so hopefully we have some more series on the way that will be just as fun. But I have a feeling that our next series might be a little bit quicker and a little bit more aggressive as we transition into True versus Zest. So GG to Estrella. Estrella moves on to our winners match. Dream moves down to the losers match. We will see Dream in just a little while playing the loser of our next series between Zest and True. Hopefully True is actually here now, and we will be able to have him in our next game coming up hopefully very shortly.
Yeah, actually I do spot True in the chat, so great. Looks like we're gonna have both our players here. And of course, we'll be playing on the Korean servers this time around, so no ping issues for both players. That should at least help both in terms of the micro, because sometimes you have too much ping. Micro are a bit more difficult, of course, with the ping. But this time around, there won't be a ping issue, as both of them are in Korea. And looks like both players will get into their map vetoes. And let's go ahead and actually take a 1 to 2 minute break, and then we'll come right back with our series between Zest and True. So we'll see you guys very shortly. All right, welcome back, guys. We are underway for our next series. Looks like they're getting their map vetoes going. And actually, let's go ahead and update our overlay or scoreboard here with Zest and True.
As we get set up for our next series between our two players, we can talk about our Matcherino, because we do have a Matcherino every time we have one of these tournaments. Matcherino helps support us by getting our players paid, and we help pay them well by using our codes. So if you take a look at the chat, you can see our bit.ly for the Xmas Matcherino. The code you need to use is APS Xmas Hype to add 50 cents. I have not checked, I'll admit, if we've used all the codes. But if you show up and you type in that code and you find out, hey, I could kick in 50 cents to the prize pool, please do, because it does help out our players get a sizable pool. Even though we are playing for $1,500 in our total prize pool, wouldn't it be nice if we had 15 and 1? I really think that extra dollar does go a long ways, and our players definitely appreciate it. So feel free to check out the Matcherino if you want to kick in anything else on top of your own. That's certainly appreciated, definitely not required. All we require is that you stick around and watch some great StarCraft 2 action right here on Alpha X, brought to you by Africa TV. So we are going to jump in here to our next series. This is going to be a ZVP. Oh, it's my favorite. It's going to be on Nightshade. Game number 1. Are you as excited as I am, Snoopy?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And actually, let's go ahead and first introduce our players, and now I'll talk about the kind of the new balance change that happened yesterday that might affect this upcoming series. But anyhow, our first player. Here we go.
Let's take a look in the top left-hand corner of Nightshade. Our pink Protoss. Give it up for Zest.
Oh, sorry, wrong name here. There we go, Zest. All right, here at the bottom right, we have our red Zerg player from Storm Gaming. He is True.
See, I knew he was Storm Gaming because of the logo. You can look there.
Yep. That's some good advice. I wonder who told you that.
I heard it from a really smart guy.
Yeah, I'm sure. He must be a really, really genius smart guy.
Yeah, he's so handsome, he can't put his face on the webcam. Otherwise, it would just absolutely break the internet.
Ah, makes sense. Makes sense. But anyhow, looks like we have, again, ourselves a PVZ. And if you guys didn't know, there was actually a new balance patch yesterday where they actually reverted the Adept Glaive upgrade change. So, you know, back before, it used to, the Glaive upgrade increases the Adept's attack speed by 45%. Then after the big major BlizzCon patch, they changed it so that it increased up to 60% attack speed, but it only lasts 6 seconds. And then for some reason, yesterday, Blizzard decided to change it back and revert it back to the 45%. So it's now currently a permanent 45% attack upgrade speed.
I mean, that's pretty significant. You talk about how prevalent Adept rushes have been in the meta over the last 6-8 months. I mean, the difference between 3 or 4 Adepts, it gives you a huge timing advantage if you're the Protoss player. It puts you on a huge back foot and makes you a lot more nervous as a Zerg player. But True, you know, I don't think True scares too easily. He's usually the one saying, you know what? I'm going to do the scary thing. I'm going to just get up to 3 bases and then cut my workers at 36, and I'm just going to make lings until you die. So I don't think that True is going to blink a whole lot here, but the first Adept is going to come on in, and the dance begins. The Adept is going to be able to shade out, but not before it does pick away at the Zerglings here. Oh, it actually just zips right up into the main base to do a little bit more damage. Second Queen does pop out here, so the Adept is going to be able to get zoned at least a little bit. But here comes bigger pressure, so more Adepts means more pain, and 2 drones have gone down so far. It's actually not too bad of a defense for True.
Yeah, but also nicely done there by Zest. Get a few drones and recall safely out while he is still transitioning into the Stargate. Looks like the first unit will be a Phoenix instead of an Oracle, but I expect an Oracle or two to pop off behind that so that he can probably again put some pressure later on and try to use the Oracles to snipe as many drones as he possibly can.
He's going to get that scout off and check that probe count to see how much Zest is committing into this. But the third and fourth gas being populated should be a telling sign for Zest that something's going to be coming his way. 3 more gateways going down in the main base. Zest is going to get aggressive here in a moment. So the spores are going to go down. The Oracle is going to move across the map and try and find work, but True is ready to go. What will be scary is the lings that are hanging on the top right-hand side. But the Phoenix did get a good flyover and did get a chance to see it. One Phoenix is going to pick up one queen, but the other queen's going to be able to do some work here. Nice queen positioning by True to keep this Oracle away. Only 3 drones going down. Everything gets out and away. But True is doing a nice job trying to mitigate as much damage as he possibly can.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, there is no dirt base yet for Zest. I guess he's gonna try and put some adept pressure before expanding, and oh, this gets a nice catch up group of speedlings there, and we'll push it back. And actually, you know what? This adept push might actually time nicely with group nicely with the Oracles. I mean, True only has links, so with the adept and with the Oracle, those are both pretty good against light units.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of the series. The timing for getting these adepts across the map. When you increase the attack speed of the adept, you don't need as many if you're willing to commit into that upgrade. But we haven't seen that upgrade come out of Zest just yet. He's just going to try and mass as many of these adepts as possible, seeing exactly what you said, seeing only lings coming out of True. But True could be pretty sneaky with his lings. He's really good at getting a nice surround and catching you by surprise. And if Zest gets in too far, he could have an unpleasant trap waiting for him. But True is just postured up right here at the ramp. He's got everything clumped up, and this is going to be a little bit of a dangerous hold for True. Lings are going to try and wrap around the top-hand side here as the queens do position themselves on the bottom side to deal with the Oracles. But now it's going to be a game of adept hopscotch here. Adepts are going to hop into the main base and deal as much damage as possible, and so many drones have gone down, 14, 15 drones, and he just doesn't have any answer for all of these adepts.
Yeah, Baneling Nest just finished, so he's trying to, he's not even, I guess he's just forgot about morphing into Banelings. These adepts are in a really nice position behind the mineral lines, getting release surface damage by those links, and True just GG's. He knows there's just too much adept, and that is pretty interesting build because again that did not have any glaive adepts. It was just pure raw adepts.
Well, and Zest and True have played each other more than a couple of times, and True is very, very known for this style of just making lings and just taking that one moment in this tug of war where all of a sudden True has just enough to overwhelm you and just push you over and win. And the adepts are a little bit sturdier compared to other units that Zest could make in that situation. So he's able to keep constant pressure on, not allow those Zerglings to feel comfortable enough to morph into Banelings. I don't think that he missed that the Baneling nest finished. I just don't think he felt like he could sacrifice any lings against that force that wouldn't just immediately get picked off. So kudos to Zest for taking True all the way into the back of his base. I'll be curious to see if True decides to switch up in game number 2 and maybe play with a little bit more aggressiveness with the Banelings, or if he's going to just try and stay the course and see if he can catch Zest off foot.
Yeah, this next game will take place on Triton LE, so a really good solid map. Both of them, of course, I'm pretty sure are pretty familiar with this map, and to see what interesting build Zest pulls out, as well as True.
Excellent. We are jumping in here on map number 2. Our red Zerg is going to have to going to have to come up with something here to handle his Protoss opponent. And that red Zerg is spawned in the bottom right-hand corner, playing for Storm Gaming. Give it up for True.
And spawning at the top left, we have our pink Protoss. He is Zest. Now, True definitely needs to pull one out, because if he does lose, that does mean that Zest will advance to the winners versus winners match, while True drops down to the losers versus losers match. So definitely want to at least push it to the ace match, and then anything can happen after that.
Well, and it's going to be True up against Dream if he goes into the losers match, a ZVT, which, if I remember correctly, True's not super fond of his ZVTs, so I think he would much rather try and take on Estrella in another ZVP. I think that could be a really good matchup for both of these players, but I know Zest is definitely looking for PvP. PvP is a great matchup for Zest. He'd love to take Estrella toe-to-toe in the winners match.
Ooh, we are about to have ourselves some cannon rushing. Oh man, the forge is about to be done. There's actually no scout of the proxy pylon, and this might actually catch True off guard. The drone does not seize it, and it's actually going for a dirt base.
Oh no, True!
Oh my god!
True saw the second worker come across the map with his overlord. He's got to know something's up here. He doesn't have any clue.
No clue. He might have seen it, but he might not have paid attention to the second probe. So, oh man, this is going really well for Zest off the bat, and True will finally see the cannons.
Oh yeah, at this point, what do? I mean, Zest is just flexing on you at this point. He does pull the third base, and that's the right decision, but unfortunately, this is about 20 seconds too late. The first cannons are now finished up here at the top of the main, and everything's now kind of cornered off. 3 spines will help. I mean, it'll help push it away, but this is not going to solve the problem at hand, which is going to be more and more cannons being produced and a robotics facility being warped in as well. This is not looking good for True.
Yeah, this is even going to catch or get caught in between the natural and the main, so it's going to be difficult for True to kind of engage at the same time. He's going to have to time it out correctly, but first Immortal is about to be in production, and here we go. True is going to be committed. A lot of shield batteries and cannons, and so far all the lings are being obliterated by these cannons.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is just unfortunate at this point. Yeah, GG is called. Zest wins that. That's a flex right there, unfortunately for True. But GG to both of our players. Zest will be moving on to our winners match, and we'll be facing Estrella in a PvP, while True bounces down to the lower bracket. Our losers match against Dream will be a ZVT. So a couple more good games coming your way here with the Alpha X Xmas Showdown.
Yeah, that was as short of a game as we had in this tournament thus far. And yeah, looking like we're gonna head into our next match, and it will be, I think it will be on the NA. Well, I guess maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure we start the NA or Korean. Let's see what the admins say. But yeah, well done there by Zest. Really quick 2-0. And True, unfortunately, of course, he's not out of the tournament yet. He'll still have a chance, and we'll see how he does against Dream.
This seems like a great opportunity to talk about another one of our great sponsors here at Alpha X. 24-Hour Fitness is a great financial sponsor and supporter, not only StarCraft 2 esports, but also Alpha X. So I have a question for you, Snoopy.
Yep.
Do you find yourself not going to the gym because motivation doesn't hit you until late at night when your gym is closed?
100%.
Oh, I knew it. Me too. And if your answer is yes, then I highly recommend you consider switching over to 24-hour fitness. As the name implies, all 436 locations are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's a lot of days and that's a lot of hours. You can go to the gym anytime, have access to any and all of our locations. A free fit plan, studio classes, pools, and cardio equipment are all included in your membership. And it's time to get swole at 24-hour fitness. And thank you so much for supporting Alpha X and what we do here for StarCraft 2 esports as we have to make the journey from the Korean server over to the American server.
All right, let's go ahead and head on to the NA server.
And we are going to do our winners match. So that's pretty good. So it's going to be a PvP, Zest versus Estrella. Let me drop some information on you here, Snoopy. So taking a look at a Ligulac here. Zest versus Estrella, it's PvP. Zest 66% win rate versus Protoss.
Wow.
Estrella 67%. So this could be a good series for us.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That makes sense because we recently had, not so long ago, Alpha Pro series between these two exact players, and Australia just managed to barely win that one. So I think both of these players are gonna be head to head. I mean, the PvP win rate is as close as it can get, and I cannot wait to see how this is gonna be shaping up.
Should be pretty good. I'll be interested to see the play styles between the two players. As we know, Estrella is circuit player, but he has spent a lot of time in Korea as of late. I know he lived in the Root gaming team house for a brief amount of time in Korea. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Estrella participated in the season 3 qualifiers for GSL.
I'm not exactly sure. I don't think I recall that, but I do know that he did train there for a bit.
So, I mean, what we normally see, we always see with the 3 different regions have slightly different preferences in their play style. And this will be no exception, going from Zest to Estrella. Zest, a very strong, kind of a rock in the Protoss community. But Estrella, I think, it's got a lot of promise. He's been doing a lot of really cool things at the national level and the international level that I think people should keep an eye on. Our good boy Estrella here. I mean, he's never going to take away Captain America Neeb, but you know, it's fun to watch him give him a run for his money.
Yeah, I would say that skill-wise, currently they are pretty evenly matched. Although, of course, Zest does have a more storied career compared to Australia. Australia just recently has been up and coming, but Zest well established. He's known. He's also a fan favorite. I mean, look at him, man. He's pretty handsome like yourself. So.
Oh,
can't
stop
see why.
that.
Can't see why people would root for him. And yeah, he is just an overall solid Protoss.
Anytime I hear the word handsome, I always think of the Red Green show. If your lady won't call you handsome, at least she'll call you handy. So I'm happy to be either or. So looks like we are getting our maps picked out, and seems as if our first map will be World of Sleepers. That should be fun.
Yeah.
Not seeing that a whole lot on offline tournaments so far. It's kind of an interesting play there. It's got that weird third base location separated off by the destructible. Well, I guess they're minerals. So could be an interesting way to start this off. So
yeah, I think
we are going to be on the American server too.
Oh, we are? Okay. Let me go ahead and wait, am I there? Yeah, I'm there.
You are. But we thank so much for sticking around with us. Fine folks of the world. Know we've got a lot of people watching from all around. Let your friends know. Tell them that the Group C of the Xmas Showdown, brought to you by Alpha X, is going on right now. We've got some fun games. I know that it is getting late for Snoopy and I. Snoopy's got it 1 hour worse than me. I mean, he's currently sitting on 11:30. I'm here at 10:30. But you know, for our friends across the pond, it's a nice pleasant day for them. So not a bad way to celebrate some StarCraft 2 action here as we get settled into game number 1 on World of Sleepers. It's gonna be a PvP. Give me your predictions here, Snoopy. What are we looking at?
Oh, let's see here. You know, because as we see at the map overview, the perspective, we do see that the natural base and what would be the natural dirt base is blocked off by a mineral, so you don't possibly see a lot of scouting done there at the dirt base. So we might actually see some proxy, you know, maybe some proxy Stargate, maybe even proxy double row, bringing it back to the old school days. But let's go ahead and before we get into that, let's introduce our players.
Take a look at the lower left-hand corner of World of Sleepers LE, spawning our red Protoss player playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Estrella.
And spawning at the top right, he's our pink Protoss. He is Zest. Alright, so the common, of course, the common opener in PvP, we all know, is the double gateway. And then that will, of course, usually translate into either double depths or maybe even some double stalkers or even a stalker and a sentry for a quicker hallucinated scout. I have seen Australia on certain maps go for one gate, but it has to depend on the map, and I don't think this is one of the maps that allows you to do so, because the natural, it does have a kind of a non-ramp area. So you know, if you do expand, or if you do one gate expand, your natural does get will be probably under heavy fire. But it looks like interesting enough, Zest is making a proxy pylon at the north side, left north side of his main base.
So I have to wonder if that's going to be for scouting purposes, to make sure that things don't just wander up into that portion of the base to jump in to Zest's main. I could see that being a just a proxy to stop like early blink stalker or something, warp prism zipping up there and warping in, because it looks like Estrella has done the exact same thing, just to keep an eye on that lower side here. We are seeing a mirror build so far, going into Stalker and Sentry. Both players keeping it pretty close to the chest right now.
Yeah, interesting enough, because you don't have that second pylon next to your mineral line, that means things like proxy oracles can do some good damage. But if you actually position your units at the mineral line, like your initial Stalker and Sentry, as well as the follow-up sentries or the follow-up stalkers, you can defend until you get your shield battery up, and then of course that proxy pylon, I guess the ninja pylons outside of the base, can serve as a kind of a vision for any incoming oracle. And it looks like we have actually another proxy pylon out for Australia here. I assume this is going to be a pylon for maybe some additional warping, maybe some double adept warping, and then possibly doing some harass with it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that that's going to be the true proxy pylon here for Estrella, as Zest doesn't seem to want to put anything out on the map just yet. Does get a really nice scout with the hallucinated Phoenix that's just going to check things out as it sits. And here comes the first warp prism of the game for Zest. And Estrella does get a good look at it, so he knows that something's coming with that robotics facility, and that Zest has got a nice sizable army. He's actually up 8 supply on Estrella. So Estrella does need to be really careful here as he makes his first transfer of probes down to the natural expansion. But Blink is on the way for Estrella as well.
Yeah, the natural of Zest is done, but I don't think this is a true natural. Although, as I say that he does resume probe production, I was thinking like he's possibly gonna go for a kind of a what will be a fake Nexus, like it's there but it's not producing workers, and that he will go for a big timing, or not big timing, but a timing attack with a Warp Prism and Immortals. But actually he doesn't have a third gateway, so it's possibly just some light pressure instead of a committed pressure.
It's that worker count that confuses me, though. Zest being down 10 workers is not probably a fluke or a joke by him. So I think Zest is going to work on getting something that's really dedicated, as he does come across the map with his big chunk of his army. Estrella really needs to get something going here at home, and he does have a couple of shield batteries starting up at the front of his natural. So he is going to be able to kind of push this off, at least for now, but that Warp Prism is going to be able to allow for bigger warp-ins. More Stalkers are going to be on the way. The Adepts are not able to get up into the main base as it does get walled off, and the probes do get pulled off the line. Estrella sensing that this is kind of an all-or-nothing moment for him.
Yeah, Blink just finished, so that is going to definitely help. Oh, possibly trying to snipe the Warp Prism, but all the probes are pretty much evaporated. Additional shield batteries does morph in at the last second. Oh, focus firing on the Warp Prism. I'm not sure if that was the correct move, but I mean, 14 probes going down already. This is an attack well paid already for Zest.
Yeah, and with all the energy gone on those shield batteries, there just isn't a whole lot for Estrella to do here. He did have to sacrifice his entire worker line. 17 workers have gone down for the trouble here. And Estrella could easily sit up at the top of the ramp and hold this off for the short term, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think Zest has got full control of game number 1 here.
Yeah, even with Blink, there's just too many Stalkers here. Ooh, with even a nice force field to go with it. And, oh, Blink. He does blink down, trying to rely on the shield batteries to keep his Stalker alive, but, I mean, Estrella microing his heart out. And Zest.
Oh, this is silly. Oh, this is just silly. This is silly, Snoopy. Zest knows clear and good what he did to Estrella. And you know what? I gotta give props to Estrella. Estrella's not bouncing out of this game just yet. He thinks he's got a chance here to continue to put on pressure, and I admire that. Estrella is unfortunately down 10 workers and the same amount in army supply, and Zest has got Immortals. Immortals are pretty good.
Yeah, they're not too shabby. They are very, very bulky, and they do look sexy, so not bad to have them. But like you said, Australia is right now in a really tough position. He needs to get as much damage done, but with kind of the unit positioning of Zest, I don't see him getting too much done. He could try to blink on top of these Immortals, but again, they're gonna have the hardened shield battery. He's gonna try to activate it, but it doesn't actually activate one of the Immortals. And now Zest is pretty much getting blink of his own, and once that is done, then the blink advantage of Estrella is pretty much going to be completely gone.
Well, Estrella did clear off the scouting pylon in the third base location, so if Estrella really wanted to get cheeky, he could try and abuse that, but he doesn't have anything that gives him any high ground. The Warp Prism's kind of hanging out back at home, just in case something zips in and he's got to do some extra warp-ins. There is an observer, but I don't know if that's going to last very long. The Immortals are moving out onto the map. Zest does want to kind of take the business back to Estrella's side of the board. And if Estrella does not deal with that, he's going to force himself into an all-in situation. But Zest does get a glimpse of the small army here of Estrella. So both are going to kind of blink back and forth and keep track of things. But Estrella's got to know that his time is limited here. He's got to make a really good play.
Yeah, Blink is about to be finished for Zest, so Estrella got to be careful with his own Blink Stalkers. Doesn't want to lose that. I do like his tech of choice, though. After being down, he's trying to go for Disruptor to at least try to even up in terms of the battle. It's either, if you're behind, you either go Dark Shrine or Disruptors, and he decides to go Disruptor. But with Blink done, he's going to evade and get on top of the disruptors. No shots. And nice little micro on the disruptor, but there's just so many stalkers, 3 immortals, War Prism coming in, and I do not see Estrella holding this.
No, GG called. Zest going to take game number 1 and kind of puts on a for PvP. That's a nice little demonstration of the power of Protoss demonstrated by Zest. So we will be headed into game number 2 here very shortly. I believe it will be on Ephemeron.
And I think we're moving back to the Korean server, or are we staying in?
I'm not sure. It's a good question. We'll wait and see what our lobby people have decided. And actually, you know what? Neither one of our players are on this server. So I am going to guess that we are on the Korean server. So we're bound server.
Looks like they actually created a lobby, our admins. So I guess we should let them know, right? Oh wait, no, they're in the game right now. Oh, I guess we're staying here on. Oh wait, Australia's asking Korean server, or? All right, we'll just wait for our admins to verify. But my guess is that we're gonna head into the Korean server just to make sure that's fair.
Well, our goal is to always keep things interesting here. So we'd hate for you to get bored.
All right, looks like we're heading into the Korean server here. All right, so while this lobby is getting set up here, I'd like to talk about our Matcherino link here. Let me bring it up. As you can see, we do have a Matcherino link to this tournament. We were coming into Group B out of coupon codes. Really appreciate it, guys, for using up all the coupon codes. But Matcherino has been kindly enough and generous enough to re-up it. So we actually have another coupon code that you can donate 50 cents for free to the overall prize pool. I'm sure that our players as well as the organizers will definitely appreciate that. And also, if you want to help out furthermore, you can actually head on over to the marketplace where we have our entire Xmas Showdown replay pack. That means every single game that was played in this tournament can be yours for $10. And if you also like to purchase some Alpha X swag, there's also the option below as well. So yeah, just head on over to our Matcherino link and to the marketplace. You can find the Matcherino link in the notice board on top of in the chat area of our channel.
Oh, and thank goodness there was an overlay, because I had a small case of the sleepies there for a moment. So. But here we are, getting into game number 2. We are on Ephemeron. We are on the Korean server. So if you thought Zest was playing with a slight disadvantage in game number 1, I have good news for you. He's going to have great ping in game number 2. I really am looking forward to seeing his true gameplay shine through here, Snoopy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And we are going to see this man in the bottom right-hand corner of Ephemeron show us his true power. Give it up for our pink Protoss player, Zest.
And spawning at the top left, our man of the hour. He's the blue Protoss from Alpha X. It is Estrella.
Now, fear not, Alpha X friends, as we remember that this is the winner's bracket, or the winner's match. Winner of this series will move on to our event later on this week. I believe it should be Friday when we will play our second group stage. The loser still gets to play. We'll drop down to our consolation match at the end of this stream. So if this is not Estrella's game to win, You still cheer for your favorite Alpha X player. But who knows? He could turn this on its nose and give Zest a run for his money and take us to game number 3 as both players are moving out onto the map and doing the most Protossy openings possible here. Doing the exact same thing over and over. Although I can't help but notice, Zest is just like that split second faster, which is always fascinating to watch between two professional players. I mean, these are both very successful pro players in their respective WCS circuits. And even at this level, you can see slight differences in their play, which is super fascinating.
Yeah, it's not game changing or anything, but it's always super fascinating. And it looks like both players will be coming into each other's bases. We'll scout around, see that everything is pretty standard. Although Zest should notice that there is a missing second pylon. In fact, Australia has a second pylon out in the middle of the map. So we'll see what he does there. Maybe it's a proxy gateway, maybe a proxy Stargate, something. But either way, he should at least know that there is a proxy pylon out in the map.
Well, this is where life... Oh, that buggy AI. And this is where life actually gets interesting. Zest deciding to open up with 2 stalkers while Estrella decides to go into double adept. So... a little bit different play style. Estrella also going for the proxy Stargate, which will be an interesting play here as well. Probably to get some Phoenix to help lift important units so he can get some damage done. But I'll be curious to see what Estrella can get done with this.
Yeah, might be Oracles, might be Phoenixes. I guess we'll see in about a few seconds as the Stargate is about to be done. But in the meantime, looks like Australia is gonna be done with his Oracle, or not Oracle, the Adept harass scare. He will retreat as there are sufficient amount of stalkers to defend, and now it's up to Zest to make sure that he does not lose to these Phoenixes. Maybe go for his best possible option will probably go for Twilight Council, because right now he can't really catch back up in terms of the Phoenix count if he goes for his own Stargate. And of course, if he goes for Robo, Phoenixes are kind of on paper a lot better against Robo. So we'd love to see him throw down a Twilight Council. But looks like Australia is actually putting some pressure on. He has yet to got his second base, so this seems like a pretty committed attack.
Yeah, a lot of adepts coming in here as the Phoenix is going to fly into the main base and provide a little bit of distraction and lift up the probe. So all of those adepts can flip right on in. A couple of force fields do go down, but don't really stop the adepts. The probes are going to be forced off the line, and a lot of these probes are actually going to go down. Is this a ZVP that I'm watching? Because those are adepts that are just bumping back and forth. 5 workers goes down, and that's actually a great start for Estrella.
Oh man, I just love that play, lifting the probe that was supposed to block off the adepts, but I don't think that's enough damage. I mean, Zest is still on 2 bases. He's even on I guess he's ahead on worker right now. So Australia, he needs to do at least a bit more damage in order to make this pay off.
Yeah, it was definitely a good start, but I don't think that's where Estrella wants to leave it. But he is going to have to deal with this large stalker force. The stalkers, I think, are just going to try and march across the map shortly once he can get a couple more under his skin. Ooh, big shade in right on top of the stalker army there. And Estrella actually catches Zest a little bit off guard out of the range of the shield battery.
Yeah, Australia is going to go ahead and try to shade the clone or the adepts in. Does get nicely blocked by Zest, and so far, nice hold by Zest.
Yeah, Zest is doing a good job not panicking here, trying to utilize the resources that he has. A couple of adepts try and zip up at the top, and actually one is going to walk through and pick off some more workers. 6 probes do go down. This is actually continued harassment here for Estrella. What Estrella's going to need to do is he does need to get the economy going behind this. The second base is done for Estrella, so he can continue to build economically as well. But he's a smart man. He knows that Zest is going to want to try and punish this as much as he can. So a couple of shield batteries going down at the front.
Yeah, he's pretty afraid of any counterattack. I mean, Zest is not counterattacking as of yet, as he is still building up his mortal counts. But these Phoenix, that should give some time for these Phoenixes to get at least some probe kills if he can get an opening. But nice spread here by Zest, as you can see. 4 stalkers at the main base, while the rest of his stalker force at the natural to defend any Phoenix harass.
Well, and what the Phoenixes are doing so well are keeping Zest back at home. Zest has a very sizable army here, starting to add Immortals into the composition. And I don't think that Estrella can beat Zest right now in a head-on fight if Zest were to come across the map. But these Phoenix are going to do a really nice job of continuing to pin Zest back at home, while Estrella is able to get his forge up. He's actually working on a Void Ray at this point, getting his robotics facility, trying to switch his tech so he can keep pace with Zest and his Stalker Immortal Sentry count.
Yeah, and it's always really nice for a Protoss player facing against Phoenixes to not have to go Blink. If you can actually bypass the Blink, have enough forces to defend against the Phoenixes without needing to research that Blink, you can just head straight into Charge Lot, grab the Templar Archive, plot down a bunch of gateways, and go for a big 2 base timing. Maybe even get a dirt base while doing a big timing as well. And then what does the Phoenix gonna do? They could lift off the Immortals and stuff, but they can't really lift off the Archons. They can't really afford to lift off the Charge Lot because the Charge Lot is going to be massive in numbers. So I expect Zest to possibly, as soon as he gets his third base, maybe put on some pressure as his War Prison is about to pop up.
Well, and Zest feeling really confident here, is going to work out to his third base expansion, but so is Estrella. Zest in a little bit stronger spot here, 51 army supply to 34. Work counts are staying rather even though, so good for Estrella trying to keep a pace economically, but he's going to need to up his army production if he wants to stay relevant in this game. Hallucinated Phoenix is going to come down on the left hand side to do a little bit of scouting. He is going to see that the third base of Zest is here, but he is going to see that the army is pinned back on the third base as well. I'm just really fascinated at how safe Zest is playing this game. He really doesn't want to move out on Estrella just yet.
Yeah, I think he could have actually just pushed and win, but he's just playing it extra safe. He's not sure what Estrella's going for. He does have a hallucinated Phoenix Scout to finally see what's up. And we'll see the kind of what the structures Estrella has. And there's not a lot of gateways for Estrella. He's only working on 4 gateways, so that should signal Zest to start moving out and put on some possibly the winning blow here, as this third base is, I think, definitely going down.
Yeah, and here comes that pressure that we were talking about. Zest deciding that now is the time to strike. All the probes do get pulled off of the line here for Zest, but Zest lost 16 probes. Where did Zest lose those 16 probes from? Oh, there was a huge attack with the Phoenix. So Estrella did a nice job. He's got to hold on to this if he wants to stay in this game. The Phoenix are doing a nice job of targeting down the Warp Prison, but I don't... Oh! They managed to just pick that off. So it's going to come down to these shield batteries and photon cannons, but the cannons are doing as much work as they can. Shield batteries are all out. The boys do get pulled off the line, and Zest, I think, is just going to be too strong with his push. GG is called, and Zest making a very convincing case to be the winner of Group C here for the Alpha X Xmas Showdown, and he will move on to our second group stage later on this week. Congratulations to Zest.
Yeah, just really great defense there against the pressure that Estrella was going for, and just out macroed after that. It was really a committed attack, so Estrella's economy was kind of lagging behind greatly, and Zest just able to macro up and attack faster and was able to take that convincingly. And yeah, we're heading into our next match, which will be our losers versus losers match between between Dream and True.
Yep. Absolutely. So this will be one of our first consequential series of the group. The winner of this next series will move on to face Estrella in the constellation match. The loser will leave. They will be done. No Santa, no Christmas, coal in your stocking. Unfortunately, will be done. But never fear. They will have walked away with their heads held high, representing their team and their country with pride. But as we wait for our next series to boot up, we are going to take a quick break here. Don't go anywhere. This is the Alpha X Xmas Showdown Group C. My name is Rushy, alongside Snoopy. We are your English commentators. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back right after this.
All right, welcome back, guys. We are on the way for our next series here between our losers versus losers match, or with our losers match between, of course, True and Dream.
Yeah, we are going to get set up here for game number 1. We're going to go to Triton. We get all the good matchups. We get ZVP, now we get ZVT. Just warms my Zerg heart. Like a mug of hot cocoa, or the fireplace that we toss all of the bad balance patches onto. It must burn. It must keep us warm in these cold winter evenings. So just gets me all excited here, Snoopy, as we get started into game number 1. What are you thinking here? Who do you have coming out victorious at the end of this series?
You know what? I feel like Triton is pretty good for Terran, so I'm saying it's going to favor Dream a bit, but not by too much. I think True can hold his own. A little mistakes here and there, and either player could get the advantage. So I guess I think we're going to have ourselves a really good matchup.
I kind of like this map for Zerg because the The rush distance is just nice enough and just quick enough down the middle that you can get really aggressive. And we're going to have to see what our blue Zerg player does, spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of Triton LE. Playing for Storm Gaming, give it up for True.
And spawning at the top left, we have our red Terran player from Brave Star Gaming. It is Dream. Alright, so now one of the things about this map is there are actually two entrances for the Reaper to kind of jump in. Unfortunately for Zerg, they can't really block off both entrances. You do see Terrans and Protoss able to throw down a pylon or a supply depot to block it off, but unfortunately for Zergs, they won't be able to block it off, but they will at least have they should at least ideally have the Queen and some Zerglings to defend against that.
Well, I'm already confused because I'm surprised that we didn't just make a 12 pool and just make as many lings as possible. So this game could literally go anywhere at this point. I mean, the sky's the limit. I don't even know a Zerg player that's gone beyond the 5-minute mark in a game against a Terran. So, of course I'm kidding. But in any case, I think you're absolutely right. There's a lot of room for the Reapers to maneuver on this map, which does allow the Terran player to be a little more aggressive than a Zerg player might care for. But the good news is that the Zerg player is able to spread out. The third and fourth base locations are rather easy to take advantage of. As the Reaper does go out, if True is quick on the ball, could very easily get to that third base location before the Reaper arrives, but it looks like the Reaper is going to try and do a little bit of damage on its own. Reaper does come up into the front of the natural expansion here, and the dance begins. The Reaper is going to be able to bounce up here and play a little bit of havoc with the Zerglings. Does manage to get one picked off here, and the Lings are just going to hang out and just take some on the face. That's totally fine. But the Queens are actually going to get the nice surround here, and oh, that Reaper kills me every side.
One life. Just one more hit would have killed it.
Yeah, and that is at least going to allow True to get out to that third base location, but it is a little bit later than he probably would have intended, along with starting speed late. It's an interesting observation here, Snoopy.
Yeah, he's actually banked up quite an amount of gas before getting the speed. I guess he was distracted by that Reaper, and yeah, when you get distracted by that Reaper, even if it does not kill any drones or kill any Lings, if you can distract the Zerg from getting that speed, that's a really good thing. So, but we do have a run by of the Hellions. He's gonna be committed to it. Oh, nice Michael there, saving one of the Hellions. But the thing is, no drones going down yet so far.
Oh, that was incredible micro done by True, trapping all the Hellions with the drones. 4 workers do go down, but all things considered, it was actually a really nice hold there for True. 2 more Hellions are going to sit in the front, but they are a little bit tardy to the party. So they are not going to want to dive in without the support of a Reaper. The Queen are going to just push those Hellions away. Hellions are just going to try and keep the creep tumors at bay and check and see if there are any Lings moving out. But True's kind of playing it safe right now, really building up his economy, getting up to 40 workers, and keeping the Ling count low for now.
Yeah, in fact, Dream is going to go for a BC rush, and it is going to be up to True to scout this and prepare for it. But in the meantime, looks like these Hellions might actually run by into the natural. The Queens are kind of out of position a bit, and Dream can actually get a bit more additional drones. Nice pull there by True, but they're clumped up.
Ooh. Oh, wow. Once again, all things considered, only 3 workers lost with that giant clump of workers. True's rather lucky right now. Sitting on 46 workers, though, trying to stay ahead of Dream. Yamato Cannon actually does start out of the Fusion Core as well. I think Drew has recognized this. He is increasing his Queen production. He's got 2 Queens on the way, along with the queens that he already has. He's already got 7 out, so this is going to be a really nice defense. The creep spread's actually really nicely spread out as well. Anytime you see this many Hellions just relentlessly coming across the map, as a Zerg player, you have to think that the battle cruiser is the main option that's going to be here. As the battle cruiser does leap across the map into the main base, it is going to start working away at the main base, but there are no spores done. They're just now finishing up, and that's going to help initially here, but 8 workers goes down. That's a lot more damage than True was hoping for.
Yeah, even with the reinforcing queens, the BCs actually does prioritize workers over spores and queens, funny enough. So was able to get a nice 8 drone kills on top of the additional drone kills that he got earlier, for a total of 15 workers killed thus far in this game.
Yeah, some really nice micro here happening. The Hellions are taking out some of the stronger creep tumors as they try to get a nice wrap around on the third base. The Lings do get a nice sweep around here and deal some really good damage, softening up these Hellions as much as they have. The Hellions are going to have to drive away, most of them between 20 and 0 health. So nice job for True. True's just letting a little bit too much damage happen here right now as the battle cruiser does come back in for seconds and pick off a couple more workers.
Yeah, that was a nice job by Dream to pull the queens to the left side to deal with the Hellions, and that allowed the BCs to come in and get some additional. Oh, does get a BC, so was not able to save that. Unfortunate there by Dream. But with the amount of workers and economic harass done, I think he should be happy, as True does try to go for a counterattack, but will be thwarted by these Hellions.
Oh, he is trying to bait those weakened Hellions into a corner so he can just kind of destroy them in quick fashion. I kind of thought when he had the Lings go into the third base and he pulled the big bulk off to the left that he was going to try and dive on in, but no such luck. Instead, the Hellions are going to go out to the middle of the map and see if they can find anything. But now we're just going to go on creep tumor patrol. Meanwhile, while True takes his 4th base, battle cruiser as well, duking it out with the queens. That is going to get pushed away as well. Dream continuing to find lots of damage. Oh, 4 or 5 workers get pulled off here. This is a lot more damage for Dream, keeping himself in this game.
Yeah, he's kind of pulling Dream left and right, and of course this map actually has a lot of dirt bases that the Zerg and Terran can go for. So things like getting the, I guess, because True went for the 6 o'clock dirt base, that means more room, more distance between the main and the dirt, which means, you as True as with the queens, you gotta kind of move back and forth, and with the creep, of course, it allows the queen to move faster, but I mean that's still a good amount of distance between the main and the dirt that you had to cover.
Well, this is actually a really impressive creep spread so far. Considering all the harassment that's been happening here for Dream, I'm rather impressed that True has managed to push out the creep to the 4th, 5th, and 6th base location, which True has decided to take with convincing fashion. Scans going down to take care of the creep tumors on the right-hand side ramp. When they thought about it. They thought about diving in there for a moment, but wanted nothing to do with it. And Corruptors are currently out on the map to help deal with the battle cruisers. Oh, this unfortunate rally right there.
Oh my god. I think he wasn't paying attention just for a second. The Hellions actually goes into the natural. Does get, oh my god, 13 more drones. This is rough.
Well, and it was such a great timing with Blue Flame on those Hellions. The moment they dove in, they had Blue Flame, which is going to deal amazing damage to those light units. 22 workers going down with most of the Lings as well. That was terrible, terrible damage, and it's just continuing to fold.
Yeah, Dream is not relenting on the aggression. He's harassing with these BCs at the... he does have some burrowed drones there. But the Corruptors does come to defend, and that will force Dream to retreat.
Yeah, that was great engagement by Dream, killing 29 workers, Tons and tons of lings, taking a lot of the pressure off. Drew has bounced up to 6 bases, but the question is going to be if he's able to tap into the bases or not. Larva getting picked off by the Hellions, which is kind of a cute trick. Hellions diving into the natural to see if they can roast more workers, and roast more workers they will. 5 more workers go down as well, and they just always find those nooks and crannies to wedge themselves into to get the maximum amount of damage. But 9 more workers, and the 4th base is being hit as well by another battle cruiser. This is just relentless damage by Dream.
Yeah, Dream has been pretty much in charge of this whole game. It is pretty much has been his pace, his terms, and Chu is just barely trying to just stabilize. He does pump up at least 77 workers, so he will at least make some use of those multiple bases that he has. And creep spread is still pretty good, although it could be a bit better, as he does resume the creep spread there, as I just say that.
Well, and Drew's kind of in a tricky position where he is in need of so many minerals. He's got such a great gas bank right now and no way to spend it. He just now finally has reclaimed 85 workers, but give Dream about another minute, he'll have more Hellions to get roasty toasty with all of Drew's mineral lines. So when you have 6 bases and you don't have the means of spending all the larva that's being produced by them, that kind of puts you in an awkward position as a Zerg player, especially when you're going up against a Terran that is at least your comparability in terms of economy. So Drew really needs to kind of grab life by the horns here and see if he can wrangle himself back into this game. More Hellions connecting with these creep tumors, and that is going to set the creep back even further for Drew.
Yeah, I think nice job here. He's going to clean out some creep tumors and also have a little bit of a battle cruiser fleet here at the left side, doing a little bit of a ninja run by. All the corruptors are there, luckily for True, so he should be able to thwart this and force the teleport. Oh, does get 1 BC, so nice pick up there.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice pickoff. Dream doing the right thing of making sure that he flew those in so he had the leap ready. But 5 more workers going down. Roaches are actually now on the field to help push these back, and that is going to help deter. But a couple Hellions are going to run into the natural and see if they can pick off more drones, and I think they're going to be successful here. Oh, they do get thwarted here. Only 1 more drone. So the Corruptors are going to move across the map and try and go directly into the natural. They are meaning business as Thors are slowly starting to come out. Mutas are going to join them as well. And it's going to just kind of be this big surprise attack. And I don't think Dream was expecting this to happen.
Yeah, but look at this. The Thors are here. The BCs are here. Even additional door popping up, which should help against this. But the Mutalisk actually trying to do a magic box, not quite effective, but the Corruptors at least will get the all the rest of the BCs. So no more BCs on the map for Dream, but I don't think he even really cares about that. He is already transitioning into full-on ground mech.
I do think that is a good pickup for True, though. True had the bank to remax out into the army that he wanted, and 28 roaches is what he decided. And that's going to be a good pick, because now he can build those roaches without worrying about the battle cruisers just flying over and picking away at them mercilessly. So eventually, I think we're going to see some of those roaches morph into Ravagers to help deal with the Thors that are still en masse. But we are seeing ourselves get up to Hive. I would not be surprised to see us get into some Broodlords. It's no Broodlord Infestor of the last patch, but it is still very strong. As the Thors do manage to connect with the bulk of the air army here, it is going to push everything away as we start to see Dream move out onto the map. He's going to start applying some more pressure here. True's actually going to just try and dive right on top of the 4th base, and I think he is going to get that uncontested. These Corruptors are going to be able to DPS this down while the Roaches work on the SCVs. 12 workers go down, but that did allow Dream's army to reposition here and kind of put True in a bind.
Yeah, I like how he's trying to take advantage of the immobility of the mech army, allowing him to take off and get that base off. But actually, look at Dream. He's split off a few army here at the south side to kind of catch these roaches. Oh, actually, the roaches does a nice job burrowing, so they won't get caught off by this little small force.
Oh, that could be a cute little trap, though. I want to see True. Yeah, True pops up and grabs that reinforcement of Thor's. And I think he is able to deal a little bit of damage, but that does get all cleaned off. But I don't know if True's got enough to deal with the Thors and the tanks that are here right now. The 6th base location's already been picked off. The 4th base is currently under attack. And True is only able to clear up 1 base, but these mutas are going to be able to clean up the tanks, so that is helpful in of itself. But there are just so many Thors.
Yeah, these Thors are going to be a huge problem, especially since True has got a bunch of mutilas. He's actually continuing and making a lot of mutilas. And here we go. He's going to go ahead and try to dive in. Oh boy.
Hold me, Snoopy.
Cover your eyes, all my Zerg friends. That was that was just a really tough there for True. And oh man, GG Dream with an impressive solid win.
Oh, I think I need to go wash my eyes. I think I'm gonna go look up puppies and kittens on Twitter here just to help me stabilize from the Muta massacre of 2019. But Drew was kind of in the position where he had to dive on top of that. If the Thors are allowed to just continue to push forward, there's just not a whole lot he can do. So it was kind of an all or nothing moment for True. Don't think that True made an uninformed decision on that one. He knew the writing was on the wall. If anything was going to happen, it was going to happen then, or it wasn't going to happen at all. And Dream just planned ahead and made sure he was set and ready to go. So we're going to go into game number 2 here, and True is on his last life here. So we're hopeful that he can continue to fight to go play Estrella in the consolation match. But he's going to have to win 2 games in a row to make that happen, and it's going to have to come off of the back of a good performance on Zen. A very, very short map. So good for Zerg.
Yeah.
Wonder if it's going to be enough.
Definitely his back is against the wall. If he gets eliminated here, that is pretty much the end of his tournament life. And both these players actually definitely want to at least make it to the round of 8, because at least if you do make it to the round of 8, you secure yourself a minimum prize pool of $75, which is pretty awesome.
Ooh.
And here we go, Zen LE.
It's a little stocking stuffer there if you can get into the round of 8. That sounds pretty fun. Well, if he's going to do it, he's going to have to start it right now. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Zen LE, our red Zerg player playing for Storm Gaming. Give it up for True.
And spawning at the top right, he is 1 game away from closing out this series. Can he do it? It is Dream. Alright, so this is probably one of the unfortunate maps that True probably wish he would not be playing on for his tournament hopes, because I mean, if you look at the mineral patch ramp area next to the natural, that is a really good place to actually siege up some tanks. And even if I think one of the previous games in either group B or group A, I don't remember, but one of the Terran players actually did a proxy with proxy marines and was able to kind of make a bunker at that ramp, at that mineral line, and kind of the drones couldn't really get this around because of course the mineral patch blocks it. So unfortunately fortunately for True, there's no proxies, but definitely siege tanks can definitely occur later on in the game.
Yeah, and Drew's definitely looking for that proxy as well. You can see that Overlord in the bottom, just kind of floating around, checking all of those different spaces. That base to the immediate right of the main is a very scary place to also kind of set up shop and wreak havoc. All you need is 1 medevac, 1 tank, and a Dream. But that's a very early Roach Warren for True here, Snoopy.
Yeah, looks like he is going to go ahead and put on some aggression. Has 2 links to hopefully delay the CC and also pull back the Reaper. If he can pull back the Reaper, that means no vision of this incoming Roach attack. and that will be a disaster for our Terran friend. And so far, the Zerglings will, of course, delay the CC, but the Reaper, yeah, the Reaper does retreat. So, oh man, this is as good as it can get for True.
Yeah, this is exactly what True was hoping for. These Lings are going to cause enough havoc to bring this Reaper all the way back home. And all the way back home it goes. He does get a lot of damage. No SCVs get picked off, but he's bought himself enough time to get these roaches out onto the map. By this point, it's now going to be really difficult for Dream to respond, but Dream already senses something might be on the way. A bunker's going down.
Oh, look at this. Hiding the roaches in the bush, and surprise, surprise. And the Reaper goes down. That is one less unit for him to defend with. And right now, Dream needs all the units that he can use in order to defend this attack. Bunker is already on the way, so nice little anticipation. Already got the bunker. That definitely will help out against these roaches.
Ooh, but I love this. Right behind all his aggression, True immediately starts droning. He knows he's gotten the response that he needs. He doesn't need to win here. He's already pulled Dream onto one base, so he can just keep some really, really strong pressure here. He's going to show lots of roaches and lots of Ravagers to keep Dream making units. One Cyclone is not going to be enough to deal with this. He is going to have to make a second. The SCVs do get pulled to help support the supply depot, and True gets so close to killing that off. One Overlord does go down, so the high ground vision does get pulled away for True. He's going to have to back off just a little bit, but again, look at those drones in production. He is going to be able to get at least a little bit ahead economically. So this aggression that he put on for Dream matters and counts. So Drew in an okay spot right now.
Yeah, true. But also Dream, he had a really nice defense. I mean, considering that he did not scout the roaches and Ravagers at the last minute, that was a pretty impressive hold. And now he is transitioning to a quick third base as well as Banshees. But do note that there is no cloak on the way for the Banshees, so it would just pretty much be one Banshee just to at least help defend against any incoming roaches. And looks like the Overlord does spot the Banshee, and it will probably forces some spore crawlers.
And this is all good response from True in this regard. Third base is going down, so that's actually going to need to be the focus of True's attention here, as Dream doing a really nice job of cleaning up the vision off the map for True. True's not able to see what's coming as of right now, and it has supply blocked him a couple of times. He's had to build a lot of extra Overlords to compensate for this.
Yeah, and looks like we actually have a 24 Zerglings in the production. This might actually be, I mean, I'm not sure if True is going to go for attack or is just using it to defend, but that is certainly a lot of Lings.
Oh, he needs to get a surround on the Cyclone, but he can't get through because of the mineral patches. I'm actually really surprised that Cyclone has stuck around as long as it has, but it's given Dream enough information. Another bunker going back down at the front of the expansion. Two bunkers are actually going to go down as well. There's more than enough bio here. I don't know if True is going to have enough to deal with this, but he's certainly going to try. One tank is going to siege in the backside, and True, he's like, I just don't have enough. I didn't get there fast enough.
Yeah, and unfortunately for True, all these Zerglings, these Speedlings, are going to be pretty useless, and that's a lot of and resources to invest into that many Lings in order to get absolutely nothing done. He will try to at least get some scouting done, but yeah, I think Dream in a really good position with pretty much even workers plus those mules.
Yeah, Banshee's going to float across the map to get a little bit more work done. Does spot the pack of Lings that were ready to pounce, so that is going to force those Lings all the way back home. And Drew's kind of in a bit of a pickle. He's going to go for +1 Carapace, but I'm not sold on what True is trying to accomplish here. It doesn't feel like he has settled into what he wants his true composition to be, but he does want it to continue to be Lings. He is going to get +1 melee to go as well, so the +1 Carapace will give him a chance to survive at least one more tank volley as he runs those Lings in. But the +1 is going to give him a little bit more sturdy durability against the Marines, which are now coming across the map. This is a very scary army here, Snoopy.
Yeah, I mean, the upgrades, like you mentioned, but they won't be finished in time before this attack. Combat shield just finished, and this is going to be a pretty scary attack. And again, that tank positioning behind that mineral line. Oh, actually, he's going to ferry. Oh, no, he's going to actually siege at the bottom. And this is going to be tough for True to hold because of the positioning. And oh, actually, the evolution chamber is right there for the taking. Oh man, it could actually cancel this upgrade.
He's trying to heal it as much as he can, but yeah, there goes the +1 melee attack. That is not going to be allowed to finish. And it's still 15 seconds away from having Carapace upgrades, and True absolutely cannot wait that long. Ooh, he does get a really nice shot off on one of the tanks. Some good biles. Does force the tanks back and away. So hopefully that will help as True is continuing to rally forces to the top of the ramp. 26 Zerglings also still in production. I think he does want to try and set up a surround to kill off this remaining tank. And he could very well try for it, but just doesn't have the means of moving down the small ramp just yet. That Banshee, though, is going to cause more problems on the top side. It's going to pull the Queens forward as well.
Oh, will that Banshee get sniped down? It does. And with 2 tanks, it might do him some favor to maybe retreat. Although, actually, no, there's a third tank here. Once it gets to 3 or more tanks, that is pretty powerful. But here we go. Looks like the Lings will just back out. There's a lot of Marines here with, I think, +1. No, actually, no upgrades on those Marines. But there is a +1 carapace for these Zergs.
Yeah, 1-1's just about to finish up for these Marines, so these Marines are about to get incredibly strong, and 3 more tanks show up to the party. This is not looking good for True. True just does not have any staying power to hold this off. He has got to close this off if he wants to stay in this game. And here comes a huge surround. All sorts of Ravagers and Lings coming from the north-hand side, and Dream just did not see that coming. He cleans up all the tanks. Oh, True had one moment to seize this game and stay inside of it, and he did. But Dream is not done. He's moving more units across the map.
Yeah, now this time around, +1/1 is done. So his Bio Force is going to be a bit stronger. But will he go for it? Looks like he decided, no, you know, he's probably okay in terms of army count. But actually, no way. He's going for a little bit of a counter drop, or not counter drop, just a little harassing drop here at the main base, which is probably why he retreated. But he is going to maneuver. Look at that. He's going to maneuver to the right or to the left side, to the north left side, possibly get this 4th hatchery while having the threat of the double medevac to the main base.
Well, and that hatchery is going to be super exposed here. I don't know that True has what he needs to defend this. And he might lose a lot to try and keep it away. Meanwhile, 2 medevacs come in with 16 Marines to put on some pressure at the natural. And Lings are able to hold it off for the short term. It does get a couple of biles on those medevacs, but isn't able to clear them just yet. He just doesn't have any staying power. These Ravagers are all exposed, and the Ravagers are all going to go down. A couple of good biles do connect, but it's unfortunately not worth it. Dream up 168 to True's 93. True's tournament life depends on this game, but he's unfortunately losing grip very quickly.
Yeah, he's in desperate need of a lot of banelings, but even so, even if he does morph those banelings, there are no baneling speed. Centrifugal hooks just started. It's not going to be done in time before this attack. And oh boy, it is looking quite scary for True. He is doing a nice little kind of wrap around with these fuelings just to get the reinforcement, but there's just so much in this main army here for Dream.
And GG is called. Dream takes game number 2 and finds himself moving on to our consolation match against our very own Alpha X's Estrella. True, unfortunately, will be our first member of Group C eliminated from our tournament, but we are while we are sad to see him go, he did show some great games. So GG to True, and we will get ourselves set up here for our consolation series here between Estrella and Dream. What did I say at the beginning here, Snoopy? I had the feeling that these two could wind up seeing each other again.
And yes, they have. And it's going to be the last series of the night. But before we get into that, I would like to actually give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Salad Chef. They provide an incredible app where you can just download the app and utilize your GPU to start chopping salads. And what does chopping salad do? They give you rewards that you can chip in, or you can go and turn your rewards in for things like gift cards, like Amazon gift cards, Netflix, Hulu gift cards, or Steam credits. Or maybe if you chop enough salads, some peripherals such as mouses and keyboards. I mean, they basically allow you to be idle and make money at the same time, which is a pretty awesome app. So check them out at salad.io if you're interested.
Yeah, and it takes all of our sponsors to help make our productions run as smoothly as they do. So we are super grateful for all of them. We're also very grateful for all the behind the scenes work that are run by our admins, our wonderful, glorious overlords here at Alpha X do such a great job making sure that all of these different series go so well. And we are just constantly very grateful. I mean, you get a chance to see Snoopy and I sit here and we get to just yak at you the whole time, but it does take a village to make this happen. So thank you to everybody that's running all of the nuts and bolts in the background. Also big thanks to Enki and Romsley for running our Latin America stream as well. You could catch the Spanish stream on Africa as well. I think the link is on the Liquipedia page. So very excited, very glad to have all these great people.
For sure. And looks like the players will get underway with their map vetoes, so we should have this next game set up pretty soon. And also like to thank Africa TV for basically, this event would not be possible without Africa TV. They're kind of the putting on the bulk of the prize pool, so we really would like to thank Africa TV for supporting the Alpha Pro Series Xmas Showdown, as well as the Alpha Pro Series events in general, and also StarCraft as a whole. They have sponsored so many events involving StarCraft, and we definitely appreciate it. All right, while we wait for the players to finish up their map vetoes, let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's group. Let's bring up the map or the Liquipedia page here, and then let's scroll down to Group D, where we will have Innovation, Impact, Nice, and Future there. So a nice, solid group. Of course, that will take place tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at our same channel. Rushi, I'd like to ask you, just based off your initial look at Group D, out of those 4 players, who do you think are the top 2 that will make it out and advance to the next round?
Oh my goodness. I mean, we've got such great players locked into that bracket. I really like Innovation. Obviously, Innovation's had a really good year, probably quieter than maybe most would expect. He didn't have a whole lot of showing this year. Did have some really good home story cups though, so obviously looking to see him advance forward. I don't think you can sleep on Nice. Nice has had a very good year. He's kind of broken out a little bit, kind of stretched his legs, and shown that he can compete at that upper level. Impact and Future are both great players as well. Obviously, Future, a great United States player. If I had to make a guess, I would personally see Innovation and Nice go out, but I think Impact is going to give Nice a run for his money. So definitely will be an interesting bracket full of a lot of great players and plays.
For sure. I mean, I have to agree with you. I think Innovation will be the favorite on paper. And then I think Impact and Nice will probably be the dark horses, or I guess the runner-ups, depending on who plays the best. And Future, I mean, I wouldn't count Future out, although he is probably considered the underdog. but can definitely put on a good showing and maybe pull off a surprise.
Yeah, I think I don't think there will be any disappointments regardless of who comes out on top in Group D. And that will round out all of our round of 16. So definitely, I mean, just even looking at the Group A and Group B, I wouldn't even know how you want to shake yourself into that round of 8, because you've got Solar and TY in Group A and SOS and Sue in Group B. So we're about to add Zest and the winner of this series. So we're gonna have another Protoss sprinkled in either or. I mean, you kind of pick your poison at that point.
Yeah, it's gonna be a sick round of 8, and it looks like we are on the way for our next match here. World of Sleepers will be the first map of this last, I guess, ace match of tonight.
Yeah, we're finding ourselves with World of Sleepers again. I'm enjoying seeing this. And you know who else I'm enjoying? This man spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of World of Sleepers, our red Protoss player playing for Alpha X. Give it up for Estrella.
And spawning at the top right, we have our blue Protoss, no, not blue Protoss, blue Terran player. Excuse me. It is from Brave Star Gaming. It is Dream. Alright, and already things are starting off pretty crazy as Dream has sent out 2 early SCVs out in the map. We'll be doing a proxy, and unfortunately for Australia, will not be able to scout this off the bat.
Well, and this is interesting for Dream because this isn't a huge commitment. It's only 2 racks, so if for some reason this doesn't go the way Dream hopes it would go, he can easily just pick these up and fly back home. But the probe is going to be able to get inside of the main base for Estrella, so Estrella will have an opportunity here to scout this and see that there are shenanigans on the way. So we'll have to see how Estrella decides to respond. Is he going to drop pylons in his base, or are you going to drop pylons back at home? And right now, the first SCV is going to get queued up in front of the main ramp. We're going to see a bunker go down here probably very soon.
And there we go. First bunker on the way for Dream. Now, this is a late gas, so it's not going to be any Reapers or Marauders, at least in the next few seconds. But nice little surround there by the probes. We'll cancel that bunker, which should at least delay the push. And the first Zealot is already out.
Oh man, I remember this StarCraft Masters game where you have to micro the one Marine away from the Zealot. This is a perfect opportunity for Dream to showcase this ability. But right now, Estrella's doing a really nice job of holding the ramp. As long as he can hold that high ground, he will be able to keep a little bit of an advantage here, forcing Dream to take a bunker on the low ground as he tries to move forward here. One Stalker is going to pop out and try and push this away as well, as it starts to do some good damage. Shield battery is just about ready to finish up, so unfortunately doesn't finish up before the Zealot dies. So a little bit of the staying power gone, but Estrella's still in a pretty good position. Meanwhile, he's proxying Stargate. I think it's the absolute right choice.
Yeah, I love this because with the proxy, there's not going to be much at home. He does have a factory on the way, so maybe if he can build a Cyclone, that will help. But if he builds anything other than a Cyclone, maybe a Widow might help as well. But yeah, this Orko, I think this could possibly do significant damage here.
All right, so looks like the push here is at least finished. The barracks are going to fly back home. Barracks have a potential to possibly see what's happening inside of the third base location with the Stargate, but the Oracle's already in the main base, so the information is kind of spread out here now. But that Oracle is going to get some really nice damage, picking off 2 workers right away and pushing everything off the line. That's actually great pickup here for Estrella. It does pick off a third, and there are no Marines here. He's doing a great job of dodging the mine as well, having a really good sense of where that mine was sitting. So 4 workers for almost no damage on the Oracle. That's not too bad.
Oh, gotta be careful. It'll be interesting to see if Australia does decide to sacrifice this low energy Oracle and then trade it in for the high energy Oracle to do some additional damage, or maybe just save both of them. I think I would probably, if I was in his place, I'll probably save both of them. But the Viking is out, so he should be at least be okay against these Oracle going forward.
Yeah, and that's going to force the Oracle clear away. And this is the right move for Estrella. Save the Oracle, have a chance to have some stasis traps in the future, or at least a revelation. He's going to transition. He's going to get that Twilight Council down. He's going to get his second Nexus finished up here. And meanwhile, Dream is going to take a second base of his own, get a couple of more mines out to protect against the Oracles, and just start moving into his normal playstyle.
Alright, looks like game 2 Widow Mine drop by Dream. With the Vikings, he should feel safe, at least from the Oracle. So, but oh, these Oracle does find it, which is a nice find, and that will force Dream to retreat this medevac. Alright, third base on the way, Blink on the way as well, which should at least in theory help with these Widow Mines as he could blink. Let's see. Looks like Bao is the choice for Dream. As well as getting +1.
Blink is on the way. Double Forge going down as well. More and more Oracles continue to come out of the Stargate, and this is a scary amount of a hit squad here. There's only three Marines there. 3 Marines are easily picked off with these 3 Oracles, but they are just gonna go to town. Oh, that one Oracle did immediately fall. So only 3 workers for 1 Oracle. That is unfortunately not a good trade.
Alright, looks like another medevac drop. Oh, looks like no, it's gonna go ahead and just try to take down the Stargate. Of course, that's actually pretty useful. Don't want the Protoss to start or continue making those Stargate units. And Australia, look at this. He's going greedy as Ham, because he is going for that 4th base before even Dream goes for a 3rd base.
Yeah, he's got to be careful he doesn't get too greedy here. Because if he spreads himself out too thin and could have had 4 more Zealots instead of having that Nexus, it really would kind of hurt him in the long run. But Blink is done, so he is going to try and blink away at bare minimum, but this bio is going to kind of chase around. Oracles are going to swing around the right-hand side, double-check the lane, make sure there isn't anything coming around. But there is something moving down the center of the map. It looks like Dream does want to try and take a little bit of aggression here. Oh, but Estrella does catch that medevac out, so all those Marines are now exposed. That's actually a really nice pickoff.
Ooh, nice blink back by these Stalkers, saving them. Oh my god, all these low-life Stalkers all survives. That is a really nice micro play by Australia. And now his 4th base is established. And his charge and his +1/1 is about to be done. Looks like Dream is going to move out, but this does not look like a scary force here by Dream. And I feel like Australia should be able to defend this with 1 more warp-in.
He's going to try and push in here, but I don't think he's got enough to deal with this. Although charge is not quite finished, so those Zealots don't have the staying power that they otherwise would. So they just immediately do get picked off. The Stalkers are still able to deal a decent amount of damage, so this will eventually get picked off and pushed back. And now that charge is done, now these Zealots will have a little bit more to do in this engagement. Looks like +2 shields are coming up for Estrella, which will help with that as well. Zealots are able to get a little bit more aggressive here as they push away. Nice blink forward to pick off the Widow Mine. As Dream does finally get into his third base, so he can start attacking the economy deficit. But Estrella taking a fifth base. What a monster.
Yeah, and you know what? With the lack of fourth and fifth barracks by Dream, I mean, he was Australia was managed to get away with getting super greedy, and he will get even more greedy with that fifth base compared to Dream, who still doesn't even have that third base saturated yet. It's still halfway done. But the thing is, Dream, he's going for a massive doom drop into the main base here. That is going to be the main place of contention. And will Australia go ahead and recall or something? Looks like he is got enough charge block here to at least help defend against this while he counterattacks with the Blink Stalkers. But oh man, these Widow Mines.
Yeah, he does pull back the bulk of his Zealot forces so they don't immediately connect. But he caught himself in a really gross choke, so a lot of those Zealots do go down. But the medevac is going to get forced away, so Dream deals damage, but I don't think gets the damage he's looking for. Estrella's still up 16 workers, and that is troublesome if you're Dream trying to get back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, Dream does have the +1 just done, so the upgrade's just temporarily even, but +2 just finished for Australia, and then also +2 shield or armor is going to be done as well. And oh, nice pick off of the War Prism. That's a nice find there. But Australia, he's going to be on +2 upgrades compared to the +1 of Dream real soon.
Yeah, and Estrella's got a scary army going through the center of the map. This is going to be one of those armies that Dream is going to struggle just hitting head on here. But he's going to give it a try. He does have some mines in the back ready to fire, and those will soften up most of this army. That would be the shot he needs. Blink has been used, so he can't blink away from these mines, but all the mines go onto the Zealots. So the Stalkers are going to be able to go rather untouched. They're going to be able to blink away. He does lose 1 or 2 of them, which is not a terrible deal. 2 weapons and shield or armor is already done. And Estrella just going to continue warping in what he needs. More and more Zealots to help soften up some of this squishy bio army. An nice EMP hits a good chunk of the Immortal and Stalkers to soften their shields, but it is not quite enough to push Estrella away. He does feel very confident attacking into this. Meanwhile, he is losing more and more workers. That was actually a huge EMP. Most of the shields gone on these Stalkers, so now they do have to blink away.
Yeah, and Australia just trading forces after forces, and you remember he can trade these forces. His economy is way ahead compared to Dream's. So as long as he could kind of dwindle the army of Dream, he is in a pretty good position. He's got, I think, robotic spade out as well, so he's probably going to transition to Colossus soon or Disruptors. But yeah, he's just dwindling the amount of medevac count as well with these nice Blink Stalker micro. And oh man, this is getting tough for Dream as more units and more reinforcement comes for Australia, and Dream will GG out.
Yeah, game number 1 goes to Estrella. Nice work. Very, very good aggressive playstyle. Does a really nice job of recovering after the 2 racks. Doesn't panic, and yeah, puts himself in a great position. He's now on match point. He wins 1 more. He's able to find himself into the round of 8 and gets himself a little chunk of change from the Alpha X Xmas Showdown. So very, very good.
Yep, but this time around we're heading back into Korea server, so that should at least in theory help a little bit for Dream in terms of a server ping, and we'll see if he can even and tie up the series.
Oh boy. Okay. And we are going to channel all of our energy here to keep this cast excited for you. Because I'm looking at the clock. It's almost midnight for me. Snoopy, looking at 1 a.m. And, it's okay. We're here for you. We're StarCraft nerds. Passion burns bright. We're so excited that we got to share this evening with you. We're so happy for all the great games that we've experienced. I mean, this started with a really great series from Dream and Estrella, and no reason that it couldn't go to game number 3 here for these two players. So we'll have to see what happens.
Yep, and looks like the next map for game 2 will be on Zen LE. So let's go ahead and channel our inner Zen.
Om.
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 Oh, I have to click the accept button. Turns out.
Alrighty, guys. Type into the chat who you got coming out of the series. Do you think Australia will close the series out? Or do you think Dream will make a comeback and win the next 2 games? Type it in the chat. We would love to see who you guys are rooting for. And it looks like both players are about to be ready.
Also, if you want to know, or let us know who your favorite sleepy caster is and why it's Snoopy, you can type that in the chat. So thanks so much, folks. We've had anywhere between 200 and 300 people watching tonight. Super excited to have all of you. Make sure, consider hitting that follow button. You can check us out on our social media. You can see all of our great stuff up at the top: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Of course, you can support our Patreon as well. But we are just so grateful for you coming and checking out our cast. We've got lots of great content coming to you from Alpha X. So make sure to follow us wherever you like to hang out in social media. And get ready to enjoy what will, I'm sure, be a thrilling game number 2, starting with this man in the bottom left-hand corner, our red Terran player, playing for Brave Star Gaming. Give it up for Dream.
And spawning at the top right, we have our blue Protoss player from Alpha X, looking to close out the series and head it into the round of 8. Can he do it? It is Australia. I feel like I've been pronouncing Australia's name wrong. I mean, I think you can pronounce it as Estrella, but I don't know. I've been calling him Austria for quite some time now, so I'm just gonna go with it.
So, you say Estrella, I say Estrella, you say Austria, you say potato, I say potato. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, this game's already starting off more normal than we would have begged to see, since barracks are being built on the correct side of the map for Dream. Estrella going for a very, very fast Nexus, though. Nexus before Cyber. So it's pretty brave on this small map.
Yeah, and it looks like you probably get away with it as there's no incoming big pressure from Dream. So it should be a pretty normal opening, and then we'll start heading to see where their tech diverges. Australia, of course, has been going for that blink opening, which has been pretty good. But it looks like Dream will open up with another 1-1-1 build. And of course, the 1-1-1 build is pretty diverse, so can of course go for that Hellion medevac drop, or you just go for a Widowmine, double Widowmine medevac drop. From the looks of it, there's no proxy starport this time around, so I'm guessing it might just be a Widowmine drop, but as soon as that factory is done, we shall see.
Yeah, there isn't any SCVs out on the map, so yeah, it makes sense for that to just stay back at home. Widowmine is in production. Twilight Council pretty early here for Estrella. I would not be surprised to see him get into some really, really quick blink again.
Yeah, it's been really nice for him, or at least working out really nice for him. It's one of his staple builds for going for opening that blink stalkers, and then he could possibly go into mass gateway units, or he can actually transition to Colossus, like stick to 2 bases for a bit, get that Colossus tech up and running, and then go for the 3rd base. But nice little Reaper harass here. He does get a probe, actually a total of 2 probes thus far, so nice there. Always nice to get any damage done with that initial Reaper. But yes, Blink is on the way, and Tech Lab will be going on that factory here.
Be curious to see what we're gonna find here. Wonder if it's gonna be a tank. So Dream appears as if he wants to try and just start a little bit more turtley, a little more conservative here. Phoenix Hallucination does get a chance to scout everything, and Estrella feels confident he's going to go for that 3rd base location, because he's getting the sense that his opponent is not going to move out across the map anytime soon.
All right, the Widow Mine drop is commencing, but Australia had sight of that really early on, so he should be able to defend it rather easily. And I think with the pro pool, he should be able to lose a very minimal amount of workers, and nicely done there. But in the same time, there is the Reaper going into the natural, but does not get much done. Total of 4 workers kills, but remember, that was with lost Reaper, lost 2 Widow Mines, as well as the Medevac.
Yeah, the Medevac getting picked off is, I think, the big victory. It's a big gas and expense, and anytime you can pick off big gas units in the early game, it's a huge win for Estrella, as now he's got to wait for more medevacs to get put on, and as the reactor gets shoved onto the starport, that's just more and more time that Dream has to stay on his side of the map, and every time Estrella can keep Dream over on his corner, that's a win for him.
Yeah, and it looks like Dream might go for a 2 base timing push. There's no 3rd base yet, although he's still on 3 racks, so it's not like super committed. But I mean, it's very possible that he maybe pull the SCVs, like all the SV, pull the boys, and just go for the kill, or he might just try to go for a timing attack, get as much damage done while getting that 3rd base. But we shall see. Charge is about to be done, and +1/1 for the Protoss is halfway done as well, so that should be in time for the attack.
Yeah, Estrella's getting ready though. 2 shield batteries going down at the front line, and here comes Dream. Dream knows that he's got a window, and he's got to fit his way inside of it. The Observer is going to spot the move out, so Estrella's got time. He knows he needs to be ready. Stalkers are going to come forward and try and buy him as much time as he possibly can get. But Dream doing a really nice job of only stimming the units that need to be stimmed. Lots of force fields available here for the Sentry to kind of segment off this army, but he does need to pull it forward just a little bit more. Force fields are going to go down and make sure that this army can't clump up. The tank is set pretty far back, so he's not going to get the kind of connections that he's looking for. A slight position to get him a little bit closer, and he is going to come forward with the bulk of his army. The tank's immediately going to get picked off, and Estrella doing the right thing, backing off. He does not need to fight this bio yet. He can let the bio come in. He can pick away at them, let the shield batteries do a little bit of work, and warp in some extra stuff. So while the supply count does look a little bit in favor of Dream, Estrella's doing a nice job holding this off.
Yeah, he's enjoying a nice worker supply, so as long as he holds, which it looks like he will, he should be fine. But nice targeting fire by Dream on those sentries. That pretty much kills all the sentry on the field. It forces Estrella to warp in one more, and you definitely want at least 1 or 2 in your army just for Guardian Shield during the engagement, because that really helps a lot against the Bao army. Looks like the Stalker will possibly take out this little small force here by Dream. So nice pick off, but does not want to over-engage as there is another set of army coming down across the map with, for Dream.
And I think every little bit that Estrella picks off here is great for him. I mean, he's picking off medevacs left and right. Dream is a little sloppy in that regard. Estrella getting extra greedy again. Dream hasn't even... Oh, okay, Dream has taken his third base. That's my bad. Okay, so Estrella getting him to fourth base is not super unreasonable here. So, but yeah, it's crazy to see him move up to that fourth base so fast.
Yeah, in the meantime, looks like Australia does go in with the War Prism harass. And as he's getting his fourth base, as he's getting established, he's going to go ahead and try to harass, keep the Terran army across on his side of the map instead of on the Protoss side. And it looks like Australia is going for a double prong attack as well on the third base. But actually get the engineering bay before the upgrade finishes. That is going to be huge because plus 2/2 is about to be done for the Protoss, and Dream will be stuck on +1.
Yeah, there's going to be a very strong push here. Oh, loses the Warp Prism to a minefield, and that's unfortunate for Estrella. That's going to push him all the way back. He can't afford to lose the Immortals at this point in the game, so he is going to have to back this off a little bit. Some nice force fields unfortunately pushed the Ghosts back, so he's not able to pick those off. But he is going to have to keep falling back. He finds more and more reinforcements as he tries to fit his entire army through that tiny little choke. I feel like I'm watching a tower defense game here all of a sudden.
Yeah, and now look at Australia. He's parking here, just daring the Terran army to go through that small little cloak, I guess clump area, and looks like Dream will go ahead onto the left side instead. But boy, there's no engineering bay restarted for Dream, so his upgrade is going to be lagging really behind, and Australia's looking to be able to hold this nice force field.
Yeah, the force field's going to clump all the bio units on the ramp. Unfortunately, the Ghosts are not close enough for some EMPs. 12 workers did go down. I think Estrella's got a nice little run by going on in Dream's third base expansion. But, I mean, the main focus right here is this army that's stuck at the third base location of Estrella. He does need to have an answer for this and slowly kind of picking away at it. Some of the medevacs are getting picked off as well, so those are being removed from the fight. A nice EMP coats a little bit of the Protoss army, but probably not as much as he was hoping for. And Estrella's doing it? I think so.
Yeah, I think one more weapon, but oh no, there's actually more reinforcement for the Terran. And oh my god, look at the army supply. It is more than double the amount that Australia has. He's trying to transition to Colossus, but this might have been the worst time to do so, as this Bao Force is gonna take down this third base. I think Australia can afford to do so. He's actually smartly pulled all his pros back into the natural, but he just needs to buy enough time to get the Colossus out and possibly one more warping.
Yeah, the Colossus doesn't have Thermal Lance just yet, so it's not as potent as it could be. It does take a lot of damage before it can start dealing its own damage here. Oh, it does hang on for a long amount of time. Dream overextends just a little bit, doesn't allow himself to stay in this game. So suddenly, what looked to be a great opportunity for Dream now kind of swings back into Estrella's favor. Estrella still sitting up. Almost 25 workers. Granted, does get a chance to kill off the third base location, but Estrella already had a fourth in place. So Estrella's not completely down and out yet.
Yeah, I love that decision by Austria, knowing that he can sack the third base. He had enough damage in terms of the SCV kills. I think he was at like 24 SCV kills during that engagement. And so now Australia just needs to go ahead and reestablish his third, and look at the upgrade lead. Plus 3/3 against plus 1/1 of the Terran. And oh man, that's gonna hurt really badly for Dream. He's gonna have to make something happen in order to crawl himself back into this game. But remember guys, this is the ace match, so if Dream does go down, then that is it.
This is my biggest fear, though. Dream's going to do this really, really strong double-pronged attack, as he is losing more and more workers. 13 workers go down for Dream, and he was already behind as it is. Dream doesn't want to commit into the main base. He's worried about getting picked off by these stalkers, and then he'll have no escape route. So he's going to kill a couple of these buildings and then kind of peace out, which isn't a terrible decision, but I think Dream needs to get more damage done than that.
Yeah, looks like Dream is gonna possibly go up this ramp, but there is an observer, so Australia able to position his army correctly. And I think wait, did he even make the cybernetic? I think Australia might actually need to remake the cybernetic. Actually, Australia pulling off from this 4th base, and I guess he actually, you know what? Yeah, looking at the army supply, yeah, it probably would have been the smarter move just to sack another base, as he's still getting more damage done with this run by of Zealots at the 3rd base of the Terran. Another 6 SCVs going down, and he is down to 32 workers compared to the 66 of Australia.
Well, I think that Estrella is doing the absolute right thing here. I don't know if Estrella is aware that Dream's not really resetting his economy at all, but it's the damage that he needs to continue to stay ahead in this game. Ooh, but he can't keep throwing away warp prisms. That's the second one. Yeah,
he's just trying to buy himself time to produce those Colossus. He is currently up to, let's see how much, 2 Colossus. There's 1 on the way, halfway done, and 3 Colossus is kind of the magic number that you want. Anymore, it's just like cherry on top. So as long as he get those 3 Colossus out, I think he should be fine, especially with the upgrade, the massive upgrade lead that he has, as he is adding the Templar Archive. So he soon will have the High Templars as well to morph into Archons or to get Storm. And here we go. Looks like us Dream might possibly want to take down this 3rd here, but nice spread. Ooh, nice EMP though.
He EMP'd, I think, every corner of this army. So that's actually a really, really good start for Dream in this engagement. And there are no shield batteries. I'm actually really surprised by that.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. There's no shield batteries, like you said, and there's a lot of EMP to go around. And here we go. He's going to go and commit into it. The 3 Colossus doing a lot of damage at the back, but a lot of Widow Mines connecting with those initial charge line. And oh, wow. All of a sudden, Dream is forcing Estrella to pull all his probes. The Colossus are still alive in the back. As long as Australia can hold, then it will be fine, as there's a counterattack that took a massive amount of SCVs with it. So Dream is down to 15 workers, and Australia just needs to hold.
And he's so close. I don't think he has any staying power, but both are just wounded. They are just licking their wounds, trying to stay together. The Ghosts are doing a lot of work trying to do pickoffs with Snipe, but now the Ghost Academy is dead, so no more Ghosts can be in production for Dream at this point. Ah, man. Both players just dealt really, really tough damage to each other, and it's really difficult to determine who's ahead. I mean, Dream has 61 army supply to Estrella's 34, but I feel like Estrella's 34 is a little bit sturdier than Dream's 63, so it's hard to say.
I think Dream probably has a small edge right now, but if he lets time goes on and let Australia mass up some units, I think it's going to hit into Australia's favor. Oh man, nice EMPing all those sentries. No force field going down, and that forces Australia to once again pull the probes. Colossus is down. There is no more other units, and oh man, GG. That was a hell of a game.
It can never be that simple, can it, Snoopy? We always got to go to game 3. It's the last series of the night. We always got to go to game number 3. So I believe we're going to have to do another coin toss to figure out our last server.
All right, let's go ahead and commence with the random.org, and it's going to be between NA. Oops, let me go ahead and actually type it in. All right, NA. Wait, why isn't it letting me? Oh, okay, there we go. Let's switch back to the other scene. Alright, NA server or Korean server. Alright, let's randomize. Okay, looks like we're going into NA once again. Oh wait, it's black in the overlay, so I don't think people can see. But it does says NA. Alright, let me see if I could whiten this. For some reason, it shows up black in the OBS or OBS Studio. So, not sure how to make it white and viewable for the viewers. But I promise it does say NA.
I believe you.
Alright, I don't see any way to make it white again. So, alright, I guess we'll just go ahead and go to NA here.
All right. We are going to dig deep into our final game of the night. The winner of this game will go on to take the number 2 spot in Group C and move on to the round of 8. Unfortunately, the loser will go home with sadness and coal in their stocking and no gifts from Santa. So, a lot on the line here for this final game, and we're going to jump into Eternal Empire.
Ooh, the nice sandy, I guess, brownish map.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how tired our opponents are, if they want to drag this out, or if they will keep this moving quick. And we're gonna have to start with this gentleman in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, our red Protoss player, fighting for his life. He's fighting for Alpha X. Give it up, folks, for Estrella.
And here at the bottom left, we have our blue Terran player from Brave Star Gaming. As Martin Luther King once said, I have a dream.
Yay.
All right. So, like we said, this is one of the sandy maps, and the one thing I like about this is it's actually a pretty bright map. So, for us casters and observer and viewers, it really has a nice tone to it that so everybody can see all the units and the action.
Absolutely. It's also one of the larger maps in the pool. So if we ever had a chance to go the distance and play a long, drawn-out macro game, now's our opportunity. I'm so excited.
And what better way to end the last match of the night? This is pretty much do or die for these players. And both of these guys definitely want to at least advance to the round of 8. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm looking at Austria's kind of a building placement here with his initial gateway and cybernetic core, and I actually kind of like this. It kind of forces the Reaper to, if he does decide to go for a Reaper, which he does, to kind of go into the ramp area inner instead of going to the left side and running away. So it's kind of force the, you know, basically kind of a kind of force the Reaper to go towards the Adept or Stalkers, and it looks like the first Adept will be coming out here, and it will be, oh, a nice change up, actually a Stargate this time.
I think that's going to be good. That's going to keep Dream on his toes and going to allow Estrella to get across the map just a little bit faster. This Reaper is going to bounce up and down, and like you said, the wall construction kind of forces Dream back and away, not able to bounce around up and down and cause chaos the way he would want to. Probe is going to do a little bit of scouting, but is going to ultimately get picked off. Doesn't see a whole lot of consequential information, but just confirming that all of the buildings that he would expect to be in the main base are actually there.
Yeah, man, I love how Austria is going to change it up. I mean, the last 2 games he has gone for Blink Stalkers, and it has actually worked out relatively well despite him losing the last game, but changing this up to Stargate Phoenix, and actually adding a rover behind it as well, so he's not going to go full on air, but looks like Dream has not scouted this yet, so he is going to be pretty in the dark for the moment.
Yeah, looks to be another. Is it gonna be a Widow Mine drop? Yes, it will be. Just 2. Gonna be bouncing across the map. Robotics facility almost complete for our red Protoss player. But the Phoenix are going to be to deflect this medevac. He knows that those are coming, so lots of scouting being done. The Adepts running power laps in their tiny little circles. But it's going to be the bottom side of the natural here where these mines are going to come in. Estrella's got a pull, and he does get a nice pull here. Oh, still manages to grab 4, which is a lot more than he would have hoped for. Is going to be able to get these mines, which is a good pickup, forces away the medevac, so Dream has to commit the mines to that. So 4 workers for a mine, you know, that's a pretty good wash for Estrella.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's going to get this medevac here with a nice kind of scouting with the Phoenixes. He actually spread them because he wasn't sure which way the medevac went, so was able to scout that and take that out. And now Australia is going to take his 3rd base and start probably transitioning into Colossus as his robotics bay just completed.
Yep. So now the Phoenix are gonna do their thing, and we're gonna be going back to a previous game series for Estrella where he used those Phoenix to control the air, and it really put Dream on the back foot. So it's entirely possible that Estrella wants to recreate that magic and keep Dream guessing as these Phoenix continue to zip around the map.
Yep, some more additional gateways as well as Twilight Cancel is going down for Australia, so pretty much macroing up, and looks like he's going to dive in here and take out these small Marine force, and actually gets all of them without losing a single Phoenix. And actually he's going to take another additional clump of Marines and still saves all his Phoenixes, so well microed there by Australia.
Yeah, and he does manage to do all of that right before +1 infantry finishes up and stim packs. So nice timing, good attention paid to those details. He's going to get a Marauder for free at the watchtower, which is nice. But it is going to be this drop coming up on the north-hand side that's going to put a lot of pressure on the 3rd base location of Estrella.
Oh, the observer did slightly see it, but I don't think he was paying attention. His army is still out in the natural area, and it's gonna go ahead and commence with the drop in the main base. Okay, luckily the Colossus, he does have 2 Colossus, so should not suffer too much damage. But oh man, circumventing into the 3rd base. But these Phoenixes does come back, so these medevacs and these battle units cannot retreat if Australia decides to chase it. But there's another small force coming into the natural, well split there by Australia. Unfortunate this force field does not block it completely, but Dream trying to get as much damage done. 8 probes going down, but will lose a lot of force behind this. Rushi, you think this was worth it for our Terran player?
No, I do not. I think he overcommitted on that way too hard. He keeps looking for these money shots, and fortunately for Estrella, does a nice job pulling the probes before everything hits. He does manage to lose 11, so Estrella did lose, but I know Dream was looking for way more than 11 workers.
Yeah, even after losing 11 workers, Australia sitting comfortably at 59 workers. His upgrades are a bit late, as he was, of course, invested most of the gas into the Phoenix opening and then into Colossus. But now he's getting a +2 and hoping to crawl back in terms of the upgrade. And yeah, it seems like both players pretty even at this point. Workers are relatively close, and overall supplies as well. So looks like both players are just gonna go ahead and stabilize and start focusing on macroing back up. Australia getting his 4th base, while Dream is focusing, or I guess trying to attempt a 2 Widowmine drop here at the right side with this medevac.
I feel like Estrella got his upgrades started a little bit later in this game as well, because we're looking at the 9-minute mark, and +1/+1 is just about 2/3 the way done. Widowmine drop in the natural is going to connect with just a couple. It doesn't pick up what it needs, so Bane Force is going to take that off. The medevac is also going to get picked off as well, so lots of really good high gas content pickoffs going for Estrella. But Dream is kind of shooting up in army supply, 86 to 63. Still has an 8 worker deficit, but with the mules factored in, Dream's doing just fine.
Yeah, Dream looks to be kind of pulling ahead a bit in terms of the supply. But +1/+1 does finish for Australia, so currently they are sitting at same equal upgrades, and it looks like Dream has yet started his additional upgrades, while Australia does start up +2/+2. So even though Australia was a bit behind, it looks like sooner or later it seems like Australia will at least be ahead in terms of the upgrade. And really nice vision here by Australia. Look at the observer placement. Look at the proxy pylons, kind of spotting any additional drops, as throughout this whole game Dream has been just dropping over and over again, and so Australia does not want to suffer any more economic damage to those drops. And so yeah, nice vision there by Australia.
Well, yeah, these are the games that Estrella has won in these series tonight, is where he can maintain tempo in the game, but he's also doing a great job of scouting and keeping information on the field as well. So he needs to continue doing that here. Vikings are going to go Colossus hunting. Some preemptive force fields are going to keep the army at bay for our blue Terran player. But Estrella going to take a 6th base location. When he gets bold, he gets bold.
Yep, and he is boldly harassing this dirt base of the Terran, forcing the SCVs to retreat and losing. Oh, actually gonna fight with these SCVs. But Australia's gonna go ahead and possibly focus fire on these and get more than, okay, yeah, he gets a total of 5 before they are cleaned up. So nice little harass there by Australia, and looks like he is ready to pounce as he is moving out with, let's see, how many units does he have? He has 2 Colossus with 7 disruptors. Wow.
More EMPs getting coded onto the army here. So Australia's going to have to back off for a brief amount of time. These ghosts have been really fun to see used in this TVP. First disruptor shot does go out. Only connects with one Marine. The second one does not connect at all. Little hit squad comes up here to the 12 o'clock and pounces on the 4th base location. Doesn't take any workers. Forces a small recall to the top side of the map. So this is rather exposed, but the disruptors will keep that protected.
Yeah, nice pick up there on the warp prism by Dream. So no reinforcement, and Austria is being cautious, does not want to actually fully commit, will decide to retreat. But actually he's going to retreat between this army here of Dream as well as the top left side. So many action going on, so many battles out in the field, and it's going to be up to their multitasking to make sure that they engage correctly and win the battle here.
Well, I kept thinking that Dream was going to merge his 2 armies, but it just didn't happen. Estrella is getting destroyed by these Vikings. Vikings are able to land and help fight against the Stalkers here. And Estrella did not take a very good fight here. He does get to pull all the probes, but this is a large amount of base taken off here. Disruptors are going down, but not before they do manage to land a couple of shots here and there. So both players kind of trading blow for blow here.
Yeah, now Australia did get extra base, so he can afford to lose one, but losing 19 probes, not the best. But he just needs to clean up this. His main worry is just to clean up this kind of small force of a Dream. And oh man, dropping into the main base, abusing the map layout, and at the same time, Dream, he's rallying his units, the rest of his units, to the watchtower to possibly pounce at the natural.
Oh, does get a really nice pickup on the remainder of the medevac forces. So that's a pretty good trade-off for Estrella. He did lose 33 workers. Dream is now up in the worker count, but Estrella does have a nice army. I think if Estrella just marches across the map and takes a good engagement, I think he moves on. I think he moves on to the round of 8, and I think he's getting that sense as well as things are moving across the map. There isn't a whole lot of medevacs here for Dream, only 4.
Yeah, if he can get some good, nice disruptor shots, that is gonna pretty much allow Estrella to move in and possibly take out a base of his, go blow for blow. And looks like Dream is gonna try to split his army once again, but actually gonna prove to be a bad decision as Australia does catch 1/2 of that and does have a nice pick off there. And Dream cannot afford to lose any army as he is down by almost 20 supply.
Yeah, I think Estrella needs to strike while the iron's hot. Oh, really nice EMP on a big chunk of the army. Really nice connection with the disruptor right there. The Bio Army of Dream does not want to engage on that ramp because that is just a great choke point for those disruptors. But I think the longer Estrella waits, I think the more difficult this game becomes to win for him. He has not replaced his 4th base location, which is not devastating. Oh, only now does he get that started. And I think he attacks into here. Nice blink forward. Does pick off a couple of pieces of bio. Disruptor shot does go out. Does not connect. Second disruptor shot does get a little bit closer. Picks off just a couple of Marines. Nothing major yet. So still waiting for that one money shot. But once again, I think the longer he waits, the more dicey this becomes for Estrella.
Yeah, well, the army supplies has even, so the army supply lead that Australia has enjoyed is gone now, but at the same time he's now ahead in the workers, so he's caught back up and he does have his base established. But there is a small little force here coming from Dream at the north left side, and he is going to try to take out this 4th base of Australia.
Yeah, and that 4th base is going to go down at this point. I don't know. Okay, yep, he is able to pick that off. So he's going to fly away. It looks like the Bioforce is going to swing over to the 5th base location and try and pick up as much as he can. Oh, some really, really just sick EMPs and disruptor shots landing all at once. Hard to keep track, but Dream all of a sudden has a really big shift and swing in the army supply here. Some really, really interesting engagements. Oh, that's going to be a big disruptor shot. Does get a ghost. It doesn't really pick anything else off. Oh yeah, I think Dream could very easily push up that ramp and get it really aggressive. But one Colossus does make some really good work on the ramp there. Estrella's got to be really careful. Dream's doing a nice job picking off high value units that are not easily replaceable.
Yeah, and looks like Australia will finally be able to possibly. Oh no, actually he does lose the Colossus. Oh man, it's getting scarier and scarier. There is another force here coming out the 5th base. Australia deciding to sack that, and oh man, action going everywhere across the map. Oh man, it's looking quite dire for Austria, but if he can hold, he still has a worker lead. But the army supply is still in favor of Dream, and yeah, this is a really scruffy kind of battle here. Both players just desperately trying to break each other and try to win this game in order to move on to the next round. And yeah, it's quite tight game here.
Yeah, another one of those games where both players come out swinging and they lick their wounds and come back out swinging for more. Estrella trying to get a little bit of economic damage and production damage done in the main base. Estrella does do a nice job of picking off that extractor, or excuse me, the Vespine harvester. So that's a nice little pick, but that's a lot of probes. I'd say that's almost half of the probes of Estrella right there. So he's got to be careful. He's got to pull that right away. He can't eat too many of those EMPs or else the staying power in his army disappears really quick. He does clean up most of the army forces here, but leaves himself very battered and badly wounded.
Yeah, Dream is just outmaneuvering Australia left and right, getting some just constant better trade and also better army positioning. And here we go. Looks like Dream might go for the kill here. If Australia loses this 12 o'clock base, that might be pretty much GG, as that's his only true mining base that is left. Nice disruptor hits, but I don't think that's enough. There's so much Bound Army still getting on top of the Colossus. Oh man, the base goes down for Australia. He's got the 2 Colossus remaining, but it gets cleaned up, and I think Dream has done it finally.
Yeah, Dream's sitting on a really strong worker supply, and that is all she wrote. GG is called. And Dream, with a comeback victory, takes the 2nd spot in Group C and moves on to the round of 8 this Friday as a part of the Alpha X Xmas Showdown. So sad to see our good friend Estrella bounce out of the tournament this early, but he showed some very good games. Very proud of him and all of the work that he's done, and he definitely deserves to hold his head high and be proud.
For sure. And let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket and the groups once again. We did see Zest, of course, moving on, so he got first place out of the group, and Dream will take that 2nd spot, so both of them will go down to the group stage number 2 and join Solar, TY, SOS, and Sue. But we have one more group left over for tomorrow to complete group stage 1. That will take place 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time here at the same channel, Alpha X SC2, and that will involve Innovation, Impact, Nice, and Future. So you don't want to miss that. We hope to see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. We will look forward to seeing you in the next stream. Make sure to always check out Alpha X esports content by checking us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and you can consider supporting us on Facebook, or excuse me, Patreon. I'm super tired. My name is Reshi. I am casting this evening with Snoopy. Thanks so much for joining us. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Take care.
Yeah, and before we leave, actually, we do one last shout out to our amazing sponsor, Salad Chef. You can go ahead, download their app, and basically, if you have a good GPU, just leave it on idle. Even when you're not gaming or where you're not video editing, just leave it on. let the app chop some salad that will help you earn some rewards that you can trade in for, such as gift cards as well as some swags and goodies. So check them out, and if you want to learn more, go to salad.io. And that pretty much does it for us, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the games. Hope to see you tomorrow, and us as well as all the sponsors. Thank you, Ro16, for co-casting with me today. It was a blast. And this is your friendly neighborhood puppy dog, as well as Ro16, signing out.